Hello, and welcome to the trip. Gary is away on assignment. He's been away on a lot of assignments. Sorry, sorry, that's the earliest I've actually started shouting into a show. Um, you're joined by Spencer, Bronco in VA, as some may know him. How you doing, sir?
Doing excellent. Can't complain. Just had some turkey for dinner. We air fried about an 8 pound turkey breast, and it was delicious.
What did you serve with it to prevent the dry turkey?
It wasn't dry. Swear to God, it wasn't dry.
Mm,
I know you're not going to believe that. I know that's usually. So basically, we injected it. You injected it with Creole seasoning and everything. We didn't serve it anything. Actually, had some bubbly to go with it. Just ate the turkey straight. Um,
you say you had some bubbly with it?
Yeah, it's a grapefruit bubbly, and I'm trying to watch the figure and everything, try to get down to my summer weight. It's a little late for that, but eh, you know.
I thought you may have meant something else. I thought you may have meant a little bit of the bubbly.
No. This is alcohol free, sir. But no, it was actually really good. It wasn't dry, and I know turkey's usually dry, but this one wasn't. Believe it or not.
Okay.
So,
Hey, I don't disbelieve you. I'm just naturally inclined to think that most turkey is dry.
no, and that's fair because 30 some years of our lives, everybody that serves turkey is usually dry, right? That's just the way. People don't know how to cook turkey. Now, the only caveat I'll say is if we reheat the turkey tomorrow, will it have the same moist flavor as it did today? Probably not. But I definitely the tryptophan may hit during the middle of the trip, and I may nosedive. I may pull may start praying. You never know.
Well, yeah, because Gary Neville, of all people, went off on turkeys, and I had to agree with him. He was like, if turkey was that good, you'd eat it all year round.
Yeah.
Not just twice a year.
Yeah, I think there's some validity to that. And in fact, this is the first time I've had turkey in 2024. Almost in July. So when will be the next time I have it? Oh, Thanksgiving.
Oh,
Shocker.
what is it? The third Thursday in November, I believe they
Yep.
tend to be. Okay. Before we move on, we had a comment. What would be 35 minutes ago with BX Gunner saying, "Hey everyone, I'm in NYC, but I'll be tuning in." He doesn't sound like that, but I've got to give everyone a voice. And with a slice of pizza, I've re-southerned him then in that one. And it's the Arsenal Misfit with "Evening, y'all." And I don't know why I did that because he's Canadian. Sorry. They've all got the same voice, really. It's generally they're either oil prospector or Michael Jackson / Mr. Hanky Christmas Pooh. Two voices. Oh, Mike Tyson.
There you go.
Sorry, everyone. No, that's not him. Anyway, we were joined by Tony Turner, but as soon as I pressed go live, he pressed leave show. I don't know what happened. I'm sure we'll get a full story when he fixes his internet or whatever happens. Because he was here for a good 15 minutes beforehand. So, as is Tony. So, I don't know. I mean, I haven't got a plan. I just told Gary, yeah, I'll sit here and press the go live button. So, how did the United States men's national team do yesterday?
They won 2-0 over Bolivia. I watched the first half and then I turned it off to go do other things.
It was that bad.
Well, wasn't just that bad. Usually Sunday night, sometimes I check out depending on what it is. I've watched enough sport for the weekend. You know, I was pretty ecstatic with the Euros. I watched pretty much the majority of the game. It was just hot here in the States yesterday. But I watched a little bit of it. It's about to be expected. They were going to beat Bolivia. That wasn't really a shocker there. They got Panama next. The group stages aren't going to be too bad, except They have Uruguay next Monday, which will be an ultimate test for them. They already played them, I think, in a friendly, if I'm not mistaken, last year and tied 1-1. So, they had an interesting couple friendlies headed up to this match. You had a 5-1 defeat to Colombia, and then you had a 1-1 draw with Brazil, which is the second time in their history they got a result against Brazil. So, and needless to say, Gio Reyna, who did nothing for Nottingham Forest for 4 months, looked good for the U.S. yesterday. Like just weird things that these guys ball out for club and ball out for country and are somewhat okay in club. So it's but when they come together,
We'll dig a bit more into that, but the man himself is back. So, Tony, tell us something.
Technical issues.
I think you've still got them.
Do I? What's wrong now?
I don't know. I got the sense there was a burping sound in your audio, but hang on. We'll go for another minute and we'll know more. But Tony, did you know that Bargav is in the house?
Nope. I've not seen him in a while. Yeah.
Do you know why? Because Bargav's in the house with, hey, what's good?
Terminator voice too.
Yeah.
It's a Monday. There's hockey on tonight too.
Oh my God. You know what would be really cool is if someone did the hockey corner. Oh, wait a minute. He's not here though. So it's unfortunate.
So we can't talk about hockey. Well, we can't talk about hockey. Nope.
Now, you know what? That's a great idea, actually. I've not thought of that. It's not Alonso, Spencer's hockey corner.
Well, anyway, Game 7 of the Stanley Cup playoffs are tonight. Florida is taking on Edmonton. Florida was up 3-0 in the series and have blown the last 3 games. So they lost last year in the Stanley Cup final to, I think, Vegas. And they're potentially going to lose again. This distraught for them. And it's only happened since 1942 that someone's come back from 3-0 in the Stanley Cup finals. So that's your hockey corner. And if you're looking for look, hockey's got the best Game 7 of all sports, period. I'll argue with anybody over this. Baseball, it just is the best. You just never know what's going to happen. So if you are looking for a good introduction to hockey, tonight would be the night. So.
I would actually argue it's the worst introduction to hockey. It's like in it, not like my logic for this is pretty sound, I feel. In England, when the Super Bowl happens, the way they the way they present the Super Bowl on English TV, because it's the one American football game that is on the BBC, or in this country, ITV now have the rights.
Mm-hmm.
But they'll show the highlights every week. But the only game that actually shows the Super Bowl, you have to have like Sky, or I think they do show Monday Night Football on Channel 5. But anyway, cut long story short, the way they present it is like you're 12 and you've never watched it before. So they'll literally explain the rules like you're a child, which is great. But then by the time that happens, again, to what like if you really enjoyed the Super Bowl and you've never seen it before and you thought, I want to see what this is like on a normal Sunday, I would then turn around to you and go, I'm really glad you enjoyed Super Bowl 72. But now you've got to wait another 5 months to the next American football game.
Yes.
It's a terrible advertisement.
I agree with that. Now, I know I've asked in the past, the amount of TV stations that you guys have. I mean, so over the air is what, 4 or 5 channels? And then you can buy
free.
Right.
We have Freeview where you can basically get your shopping channel or whatever. But generally speaking, if you want to watch the NHL in England, I think you have to buy a subscription service.
Yeah.
And so basically, I've not watched an NHL match for years, essentially. But like I was gonna get into, basically, it's a great advert for hockey. I'm sure it is.
Yeah.
But then you'd be like, okay, but then I ain't got to watch the next one till October.
And that's a fair assessment on that. I do think, the majority of these sports, the only caveat I would say is there's a lot of foreign-born players in the NHL. So there is some you do get that potential, like, oh, well, this guy from Slovakia is playing for such and such. So there is a care there. But they also have their own professional leagues in some of those countries too. So it's, yeah, I mean,
It is.
it's on, yeah, Brownie and
It's
Alonso.
almost like he smelled it. Hello, Alonso. How are you? Hi, guys. Hi, Spencer. Hi, Brownie. And
Hi, Brownie.
yes, quite rightly so, the last Canadian team to win the Stanley Cup was the Montreal Canadiens in 1993. Am I right in thinking the following year was the New York Rangers, which then kick-started American dominance in the hockey world?
Yep.
Spencer, thanks for joining in the Facebook debate, bro.
We all know about that.
Bro.
You're welcome, bro.
Tony, are you a bro? Bro.
Nope.
Do your bro thing. Do bro.
Yes.
Bro.
I don't do the bro thing, sorry.
You don't do the bro thing?
No.
Oh, you don't want to be. You don't want to hang out with the cool kids. I've never been called that. Anyway,
too anti-Oklahoma to be bro. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. He ain't got that Harlem in him.
Yeah.
Was that too racial?
I mean,
okay. Alonso peppering us with some.
There's a fair amount of black people in Oklahoma City.
Although, to be fair, it probably bumped the program from PG to TV-14, so there is that potential.
I know why Brownie turned in. I found a new discovery yesterday, Tom.
What did you discover?
I discovered they have the Real Housewives of Dubai. So I think Brownie would really like that. Brownie will like the joke.
Not 100% convinced of that. But,
can you explain that joke to me like I'm two? I don't get it.
Do we want to go down this rabbit hole, Tom?
No, we can pass it. Anyway, how are you doing today, Tony? Like how
Can I ask just a quick question for you all? Which goal was better from Bargav? I'm guessing he means out of the two United States goals, based on his following comment with Balogun haters taking notice. I didn't know he had haters.
Yeah. Well, you know exactly what happened, Tom. He didn't want to play for the Arsenal, so he ended up getting moved on. So now people don't like him
anymore. He did want to play for the Arsenal. That's a difference.
Right. There's conflicting reports, Tony. But
Arteta didn't like him. It's his kid's club. He wanted to play. Agent wanted money. Blah, blah, blah. Arteta doesn't play academy kids. Wasted a year of his career. During the negotiations that he wanted to sign. But between the agent and Arsenal, nothing happened. So during the whole time, they didn't play him at under 23 or anything. So you're 20 years old and you lose a very, very, very valuable year of development in your career. Because of course, politics behind the rules.
And that was the Academy update from Tony. Sorry, we're doing an update.
Academy.
Yeah, we're doing an update thing. Hockey Corner, Academy update. So
make him remind everybody that Arsenal has an academy.
Yes, I do.
You're one of the richest clubs in the world. Why would you not have an academy?
Yeah.
I've not put him on mute, but for some reason he's on mute.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Technical difficulties again. Did he conked out? But yeah, I thought the Pulisic goal was pretty good. I mean,
to be honest, I think the giving the likes of Balogun, etc., a new contract is because of the homegrown places, as it's cheaper than getting rid and needing better replacements.
Well, the homegrown rule is what, 16? As long as they're in your club at the age of 16, they're considered homegrown. I think that's the age.
That, yeah, I think it's an iffy rule personally, but
because Liverpool,
as you know,
Liverpool is like, we have all these homegrown players. It's like,
it's like no, mate, absolutely not. You like claiming, we developed Harvey Elliott. It's like, no, you bought him from Fulham at 15 when he'd already played a Premier League match. Who the fuck do you think you are? To then sit there going, look at our youth academy. It's like, about 3 of them have been at your club since they were 10 or something, and the rest you fucking bought from other football league clubs. It's like, fuck you.
I'll give you a prime example. At a high school reunion this weekend. I didn't go to it. I started going to my high school in 10th grade. That'd be the equivalent of me being like, I'm a homegrown such high school. I was only there for 3 years. Everybody was there for 12. So they were the assistant for 12. Who's the true homegrown? So
it ain't you.
Nope, it's not me at all. I'm not in any of those 3rd grade pictures with any of those people. So
some would say you're the real winner.
Some would say that.
I mean, not me. Obviously, I wouldn't do that because I don't know enough about the school or anything like that. In fact, I'd kind of like any segue to get out of making this distinction. So,
well, here's the thing.
Really
the Euros. Let's do a good segue here. How about the last-minute drama in the last 2 days? Tell me match day 3 knockout football isn't the best in the group stages.
It's quite tasty.
Yeah.
It was a lot tastier when more teams went out than went through, admittedly. As in, I'm saying about the World Cup. Like, when you had 2 through, 2 out, like, that was real stuff. Now it's like, most of you are actually staying in the competition. So I think the jeopardy's not quite the same.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Croatia's draw and Albania not getting anything from Spain as basically England are through. That's official. England are through. Because even at worst, England will finish as one of the best 3rd place teams.
Yeah.
So basically, buckle yourself in for more Southgate ball tomorrow.
I think you're going to get that regardless, to be fair. That was probably going to be the plan of action anyway. You got Slovenia tomorrow, right? So there's that. I think the only thing you can do now is fight to see who you play in the next round. That's the big thing. So what opponent do you want? And
I don't even know who it's between because there's so many caveats now. It used to be really simple. In a 2 go through, 2 go home situation, you would literally look at the opposite pairing of the group and go, right, if we win it and they finish 2nd, that's who you play. Whereas now, it's kind of, and I know there's a wall chart and stuff that you can, like, that does make it easier to follow. But I'm like, you could just end, if you finish in a certain one of the 3 spots, you then end up in, like, basically got 3 different, it's like,
Yeah,
don't get me wrong, I get why they've done it, because they want an extra round of matches. They want it to last as long as the World Cup. But
I mean, I get both aspects of it. I like the fact that America is now, or CONCACAF is now combined with the South American and done a tournament together. I don't know how long that's been going on off the top of my head, but it's good. I think it's good for those because CONCACAF, and you do like the Gold Cup, outside of Mexico and Canada, there's not really a big threat, right? Like those are the big 3. But I mean, look at the qualifying for the World Cup in South America. It's so cutthroat, right? They only get 4 teams out of.
It is not cutthroat at all. Do you know 6 teams at minimum will qualify out of 10?
You talking about for the South America? You talking about the new format coming through?
Yeah, for the next World Cup with more teams.
I'm going back.
Over half the teams qualify.
No, I was talking back to the previous 32 round of 32, not the new 48 round that we have. So, Yeah.
I think even then you'd get 4, maybe 5.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Still half.
Yeah, not the same representation Europe has, but again, Europe has more countries in it. But there is a. Never mind. No, we'll not go into geopolitical stuff.
Do you know what, Spencer? You are. You know what? I'm going to give you your due, sir. You're a mind reader.
Oh, we knew this was coming.
We knew this was coming. Brownie.
Although,
you know what? I'm going to give you your due.
The
Spencer,
discussion
I know
never.
You made a comment. Oh, sorry. Go on. Through to me.
Go ahead. No. Let's have the question out, and then I'll put my 2 cents out there.
Spencer, I know you made a comment about this subject, but let's have a conversation about this. The application of Birmingham wanting to play Wrexham in the United States of America.
Which my text to Tom is like, I would rather watch the WNBA than Birmingham play Wrexham in the US.
I would rather watch a cat shit in my mouth than watch Birmingham play Wrexham anywhere, let alone in America.
It's simple as that. Only thing I did is I trolled some people in the comment section because they made some interesting American comments. I mean, why would I not do that? Come on now.
Shock. Imagine we don't want to watch Americans, and you were like, wait a minute, I'm an American.
Well, I didn't do that much. I mean, the one guy could have probably taken a hint to it. And Alonzo said there's no way he's watching the NBA. I don't think but we've had this conversation beforehand.
I have watched the WNBA.
There's this perception that Americans don't know anything about football, but then we start pressing people on it. Well, American owners. Well, hold on, you just said Americans. Like which one is it? Is it the owners or is it the actual fans that don't understand? Because, and that's the thing too. We see a lot of people really quiet about the Saudis online, but the minute it's a chance to take a shot at Americans, like.
No, you're fine, Brownie. It was funny. It was just funny.
No. This is literally Brownie. It's all good. I just was trying to be a troll for a little bit. You should know me long enough that if someone's going to make a crazy comment and it leaves the door open, I'm going to push my foot the way through. It's nothing personal.
But yeah, I watched. If I remember rightly, it was last year's. Like most things, you've not got anything better to do for an hour, and you're flicking through TV. And I happened to catch it was New York Liberty and Los Angeles Sparks. I don't know if I got the team names right, but I watched it. It was okay. It was women's basketball. I thought it was fine, personally.
The only place I've seen it actively watch women's basketball, that was in a prison.
And then it was really good, I imagine.
I mean, for them, it probably was. I just walked in, made sure everybody was alive, and walked out. That's all I did.
See.
I wonder how that would play out in Oklahoma.
Income.
I wonder how that would play out in Oklahoma in prison, since you got the most concentration of females incarcerated at any place in the world. Way to go,
and
Oklahoma.
Want to say hello to Miss Melina. How are you doing? And it was fun as always, says this Bronco in VA guy. Again, got to get him on the show.
He seems like a good guy.
I'm sure he has his moments. But no, in all truth though, my issue with when people say that Birmingham Wrexham should be in the United States, what they really mean is they want Wrexham in the United States because Wrexham was the one with the exposure, right? Like of the two teams, if you ask the audience that are ostensibly going to pay to watch this match, name the squads. They'll go Paul Mullins going to be the first name off the list because he's obviously probably the most famous player for Wrexham currently. They might name James McLean because he's actually played Premier League football, and then they'll go, and then Birmingham's there too. Tom Brady, right? They won't even know any of the Birmingham players. I'm not saying like they should, That's not my argument. Is, oh, you don't know. Why should you know anything about Birmingham? I don't want to know anything about Birmingham, and I live 2 hours away from it. Fuck them. But anyway, sorry. Let's get into Alonso. The Arsenal True X Galaxy podcast has said English people thinking us Americans liking football view us as arrogant. To be honest, like, how dare you watch the sport? We love you, Yanks. Don't understand it. Wait, what? Right, let's unpack this.
But
Oh.
Tom, why do people very get upset when we call it soccer when you're the fuckers that came up with the name association football, which quickly got called
because people
quickly
stupid,
became
Tony.
soccer?
I don't know. People are stupid. What do you want me to tell you? I know it's in the name. When do I never get upset when anyone calls it soccer. I don't give a shit.
To be honest with this, though, and here's the reality with this situation, Tony and Tom. Our countries are so tightly knit from history to current events, just in general, that there's going to be a little extra banter just because. Like, no one, like, if you were to make fun of someone from another country and say this, some stuff you hear people say about the stuff that English and Americans will say about each other, if you said that to about Nigerian or French or whoever, people would lose their mind. But there is that little bit of extra, like, we fought 2 wars against each other. We fought 2 wars with each other to help each other out. Like, there's a lot of history there, so there's going to be banter.
Wars that we would have won personally had a. Our dinner time was called, so we just had to leave, innit?
But I think that's where it comes from now. I think there is a little bit, and I still think, I don't know, like, there's a difference between Irish and Americans, and then Scots like each of the 5 countries that make the United Kingdom have a different viewpoint of Americans. I think that's a fair way to put it.
We'll have different viewpoint of each other, including the Irish and the Scottish.
That's true.
Because I'd be lying like when they're all like, I'll put it this way, I was far from the saddest person on earth when events transpired in a certain direction yesterday. Because I know they're going to be just as happy when we inevitably fuck it up ourselves. It's the natural order of stuff. They will be really happy, like, oh, it's not coming home. And it'd be like, all right, you have your moment and all that, because we had ours like 3 weeks ago when we were actually still in the tournament.
It wasn't the whole coming home thing said in jest anyway.
Yes.
It was a joke.
Yes. I was saying this to Gary and Spencer the other week. I was like, most countries don't actually understand the song. It's not us saying we're going to win it. It's we are not going to win it because we never do. But we sing it until we lose. And then we're like, oh, here we go. Oh, look who it is. Yeah. All the way from, I think it's Guyana. Is he ready? Is he ready? Let's bring him in. It's Gary. Looks like his house.
Does he not see us?
Gary. I'm your conscience.
What's going on? Every time I join a show, somebody leaves.
Tony's been in and out.
Yeah, he's had like internet.
I don't care because it's the second time. I'm starting to get a complex. Second time.
I mean, I can leave too.
You know, damn it! I almost got happy there.
I was like, I'm actually gonna have to talk football tonight. I'm joking. We have been going for a little bit though.
Hello there, Mr. Tom. Hello, Spencer. Okay. Everybody in the chat. Hello.
Our football goes back to the 1880s. It's in the blood. It's life, and dare I say, we'll say, football is religion in Europe, South America, Africa. It's religion everywhere except America. I think he's saying America.
Well, every country has a sport they almost view as a religion, whether it's baseball, football, soccer, whatever it is. There is a sport every country has. I mean, you could argue India, cricket's the biggest thing. Pakistan, cricket's the biggest thing. Australia, Australian football rules. Like, everybody has something. So,
I was going to say congratulations to the United States cricket team for their 10-wicket defeat to England yesterday.
Yeah, that's not a good thing.
10 wickets. Like, that is the footballing equivalent of being beaten like 47-0.
So what happens when India beats England? What's going to happen then?
I will literally just go, yeah, okay.
All right. You're supposed to beat us in cricket.
We are. But I just think it's relevant to point out that there's no higher possible win in cricket.
Well, there is.
No.
If you go 0 for 10 wickets, then yeah, I think that's much better than what you just did.
Well, we did beat your total in 9 overs.
I just told you something that's worse. So whether you believe it or not, it's worse. That would be a perfect match.
Okay.
That's what a perfect, yeah.
Well, I mean, it would be funny
10 balls, 10
if
wickets,
we bowled you out for the first 10 balls and then scored
1, it's done.
Then scored 11, then yeah, it'd be great. Like that actually, no, Gary's right, actually. That would be the most embarrassing defeat ever. So no, Gary is right, actually. No, I was wrong. That's it. Well done, Gary. Yeah, outsmarted me. It doesn't take much, admittedly. Stefan, the Arsenal Truex Galaxy podcast says, I think World in Motion was a brilliant song for the 1990 World Cup by New Order. Was amazing. I think he copy and pasted that off Wikipedia. It's one of my favourites, actually. It's one where John Barnes raps. It's a great bad rap. It's very good. Brownie with it's a good song. It's a good song. It's genuinely a good song. I blame Tony Blair for starting the devotion movement in order to get independence votes during the Brownie. That's far too political, mate.
Yeah, you know what? That's to me almost as it's got me engaged just as much as Spencer talking about Broncos.
That's
not much.
Not much at all. It's not very kind, Gary.
At least we won a Super Bowl in the DVD era, I guess.
You did. We did. I watched my team win 3 and 4 years, but yeah, that's old news now. I get it. You
didn't get a single bit of it in high definition.
Yeah, but that was in the file of facts era, wasn't it?
Damn, I mean, it counts just as less. It counts less than, I guess, right?
No, no, it doesn't.
It's only a religion if you're not a Celtic supporter, Stefan, to be fair. Ha ha ha. Just kidding. Cricket is the second most popular sport on the planet. It really is. Based on, it's realistic. It's popular in about 15 countries.
And you don't have to, it's because I think it doesn't take a lot of money to play the sport either. I think that's where
you're right. Barrier to entry is very low.
Yep. 100%.
Which is surprising because cricket bats are quite expensive. But you can make a cricket bat out of most things, some would say. Mm-hmm. A gentleman who's got some explaining to do to Gary. Tony, welcome back.
What explaining do you have to do for Gary, Tom?
Because Gary's got a complex because as soon as he came in, you disappeared.
Tony just can't find an AOL CD with any minutes left on it, Tom.
AOL CD.
I have this beta running on my iPad. It's been fine last week. New one came out today, and for some reason, it keeps on crashing.
Have you answered this question, Spencer?
Brownie hasn't. Because I remember he posted it today.
You
England
asked it to him. Sorry.
Yeah, England in the 90s. they were flying the Union Jacks. He posted the picture, and then now they're just flying the England flag. But my point is, why would you expect them to fly the UK flag when only England is playing? It just seems really weird to be like, oh, they used to fly the Union Jack, but only one of the 5 countries is playing.
I think the people that did that just basically picked the wrong flag. Like they wanted an England one, but only a UK one was available, and they went, "Yeah, that'll do. Give me a marker pen, whatever." Lies are being told here by the Arsenal Twitter Galaxy podcast. He just said that Stefan's hilarious. So there you go.
You sure it's not 5?
He has his moments. Probably with the populace of India cricket, probably is. I mean, there was a lot much. You're a writer, and there was a much easier way to write that. But no, yeah, that is basically it, isn't it? It's a highly populated planet. The planet of India.
It should be. It has nearly 2 billion people there. So.
There you go. So whatever sport is most popular there probably is going to be one of the most popular people on Earth. Back then, people were far prouder of being British. I voted for independence. Just going to let that under. When I found out that Brownie was Welsh, I was like, it's independent. Yes. Anyway, my team won in 2017. What did Arsenal win in 2017? To win the FA Cup in 2017?
One of our pointless FA Cups.
Oh, we're talking about the Super Bowl. Four countries in the UK.
He's right. I don't know why for some reason I keep mixing up Ireland. I did a whole thing on the UK for business class, a 25-page paper. It's somewhere around here. It was the easiest one to pick. And Gary, because he's got 4 different countries, I could write about 4 different things. The 25 pages filled themselves out. So some sucker picked Iran.
To Gary, I suppose this is the best time to ask. How are you enjoying your trip?
My trip? What do you mean?
Well, you were going away to see family.
I haven't left yet, though.
That would explain why it looked like your house. Because you're packing today, right?
I'm packing today, yeah.
I did think that's really strange. Like, your family must just have the same house set up wherever you go.
No, I was just packing.
Gary took a shot of his wall. Got the green screen going, so that's why Gary.
There you go. So it's like I'm home all the time. No, I haven't left yet. Yeah.
Surrender to line Tories and their BS.
Oh, there's politics stuff.
Very boring. It's very boring. Knew you would bite. And ha. Guys, no, let's ask this. Guys, how's the Copa America been so far?
America got their win, so that's a good start. We'll find out how I think Brazil plays tomorrow, I think it is. So
America's 2 remaining games will be against former Leeds United managers.
Oh.
Genuinely true.
I don't know who they're playing and stuff like that.
Panama are managed by Thomas Christensen, who managed Leeds for about 5 months.
Oh, Brazil plays tonight. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And then you obviously manage against God.
Manage against God.
Yeah.
Who's that?
God.
Oh.
Does God have a bucket?
Bielsa.
I didn't see him on a bucket.
No, he's been using a beer cooler, I believe, for his Uruguay matches.
They won yesterday.
They should have had about 46 goals. That's exaggerating, but they.
What do you think of Ronaldinho? What do you think of Ron Albino's comments about him a week and a half ago? Calling them the worst Brazil team ever.
You know what? You can say that pretty much probably about most football teams these days because there's nothing. Everybody compares the old days to the new days, and guess what? They're never the same. I mean, the athletes are, according to the older generation, weaker, right? They can't play 90 minutes. They can't take a tackle, right? They won't put their head in for a ball. So I kind of feel like they're just old men on the stoop screaming at, kids as they ride by on their scooters.
I mean, we see it in the NFL, Gary. The same thing. Well, these players are softer nowadays. Like, well, yeah, you guys used to walk around with like 3 brain aneurysms, and got back in the game and didn't care about concussions. And now we care about stuff like that, right? So now, allegedly, because we're worried about player safety, it's a softer generation. And,
but
we were real men. Now, just excuse me, because I've just pissed myself at 50 years old. Because I can't control myself because I've got incontinence because of all the fucking concussions I've had. It's fucking pathetic.
I thought you were going to blame it on your enlarged prostate.
Pathetic.
It's not your enlarged prostate, done?
Sorry, what?
Nothing.
Enlarged prostate makes you pee more often. Sometimes piss yourself.
I don't even know how we got to that conversation. Like we're just, I mean, really, I don't know.
He can take 10 seconds to calm himself down.
What was that? What did he? How? Okay, maybe I've missed it. Yeah,
you've given it too much time, Gary.
I have. No, I just, I kind of feel like I said, the older generation. You know what? The older generation, they look down on the newer one. One because they're getting more money, and they get a lot more press, right? If you do something good in a sport today, it goes all over the world. Whereas, like you had, nobody heard about some of these spectacular events that happened in the old days, right? Oh, look, he dropped the con again.
No, I didn't. I didn't boot him out. His internet went.
Yeah. So I kind of feel like that's where sports is. So because you hear it all the time. I mean, you guys are like, these guys are injured all the damn time.
Yeah.
And in case anyone wondered, Colombia have just beaten Paraguay 2-1 in the Copa America Group D.
Yeah.
So, and then obviously, I'm doing 1 game a day in this. Okay.
No, there's 2. So, Brazil plays Costa Rica in about 45 minutes.
Yeah. Well, no, because here, I know you're right, but here it was displayed like as a.
Tomorrow.
Copa America was a Colombia game happened on Monday and the Brazil game's Tuesday because of the time.
Okay. Yes, that's probably right. Yep, 2 a.m. in the morning.
You are right. No, you are right. So yeah, Stefan wondered if there was a game, so I thought I'd tell him the result because it was going on while we were talking, but it ended. He has still got his potty. Times does change. Only real men on this podcast, and Tony. And fuck's sake, we didn't need to know that, Tony. Laugh at that, Lonzo. This is why I'm in the chat. Explain. Why are you in the chat?
Yeah, exactly. Lonzo? Yeah.
Explain.
I didn't show up, so usually that means you show up, Lonzo.
Explain, young man.
So tell me why you didn't follow the script.
I thought he was saying it like I'm in the chat to keep Tony honest. It's like I'm the Tony police. Are you the Tony police? I don't know why I said that. Like he can immediately respond. I mean, I figure he's typing time as we speak. Anyway, sorry. Serious talk. Brownie was thinking about this earlier. Someone commented on social media. Brazilian team in the 1970s, but the Brazilian team in the 1970s weren't very good. I know that's sacrilege to say. But after they won it in 1970, they didn't win anything for 24 years. I'm sure they won a Copa America or something. That don't count. I figured you had been sent it because you usually ask me for it. The Tony Turner private police force. By now, I'd automatically get you, cocky fucker. Are you in the process of sorting that out, Gary, or do you
Yeah.
want me to?
Yeah, I can do it.
Thank you.
Like you said, he usually asks, but I don't think he asked today. I don't know when. I don't know your
figured
schedule.
He had it because
We
he
don't know
never
your
asked me.
schedule, man. That's why. Oh, you did send it. You know what? Wait, no, that's from Saturday.
I clicked on the one from Saturday first.
All right, so.
And I was like, it ended. I said, oops.
All right, so.
Oopsie.
The
Yeah,
70 side was amazing.
You can check
but
your
England still was great.
check your messages now.
I wasn't alive in the 70s, so I honestly don't know.
What?
No, they were all right. Don't know. Saying they weren't that good was an exaggeration on my part. They were a fine side. But other than the one that actually won it, literally at the start of the decade. But the World Cup format was really weird then. Like, you only got 8 teams in it.
Only 8?
They cut it in half for two World Cups. And I don't know why. But
well, the U.S. finished, wasn't it 4th in 1950? But only half the world played in it? Could be wrong.
Yeah, that sounds right. Or half the world.
Or something like that, yeah.
I think there was one there like 12 or 11 teams, something like that. Anyway, not many teams in it. Yeah.
Well, half the world's that were actually competing.
Well, because most of the world couldn't actually afford to get to Brazil.
Yeah.
Because obviously they were still counting the cost of being at war, I suppose, is fair to say. It was like, I think England sent a team and they had to go by boat. So I think it took them 3 weeks to get there. They lost to America, United States of America, got nationally embarrassed, then came back and thought, well, at least no one will find out that it happened.
Oh, but they did.
Did. Yeah, Brazil, yeah. It was obviously the end of that cycle. And then they started bringing out my boys, Zico, Jorginho, and all the other names that I could make up and incredibly get away with. Tony, make up a Brazilian player name from 1970.
Valdinho.
Better than I was expecting. I'll give you that. 12 points to Tony.
There you go, Tony.
Hey.
BX Gunners here. I read out your comments from half an hour before the show started.
He said he was in New York City.
He did. He did. Quite right. Do you have your pizza? He said he was going to get pizza.
Yeah. I had pizza on Saturday. I mean, not that anybody cares, but it was good.
But he wasn't he, Stefan? He was kicked the shit out of. Which I'm surprised more teams didn't do to him.
I miss being able to eat pizza.
Why can't you eat pizza, Tony?
Because it's high in calories, even with like the thin crust or New York style. It's just, I can eat a slice or two, but that doesn't really count.
Why doesn't that count?
Because who's gonna have 1 or 2 slices of pizza?
Somebody who can't have more than 1 or 2 slices of pizza.
You're gonna eat half a pizza or the whole thing.
Brownie. I meant 8 teams in 74 and 78.
Oh, look at that. Buffalo Wild Wings. There you go.
I'm not looking forward to a new format.
I have no idea what that is, but hang on. Why not, Tony? Explain.
Just too many teams, Tom. Too many teams.
It only happens once every 4 years. Might as well invite everybody to the party.
Yeah, but you're diluting it when you're having worse teams in there.
But it's about equity and ability of opportunity.
Let's put Trinidad and Tobago into it.
And you'll watch it. You'll watch Trinidad and Tobago play Bosnia Herzegovina. Is that right? Sorry. You will like it. That'll be
I'll
your
watch
9
that
o'clock
first.
game. So, Gary, question since we're waffling here. How did you think about the knockouts? Did you be able to see Scotland yesterday and Italy today with their heroics?
Yeah, I didn't see the Scotland one. I saw the other one. Who was that?
Italy and Croatia.
No, I saw that. Well, today I saw both games because I just had them both up on my computer.
Gotcha.
I could see
Germany and
both of them.
Switzerland. Yeah.
So yeah, Germany and Switzerland. Oof.
Yeah, it was close.
Makes you
No, you're right,
It
Brownie. I stand corrected.
It's the not having a striker or an attacker who can score, who's clinical, makes a big difference. Makes a very big difference. And team, you notice this in all the teams though, but the big ones. I mean, in Brazil, Mbappe's out; they can't score to save their life, right? I mean, one guy shouldn't be the reason why you can't win a game, win a match, or control one anyways. But Germany. Now, what's funny is I heard one of the commentators said pretty much right before that game, the only team that hasn't struggled on both offensive and defensive side of the game right now is Germany. And then they went out there and you saw what happened. They couldn't
It looked
score
like they were
any.
sleepwalking. That's what it looked like. It just looked like Switzerland wanted it. That's what it looked like to me.
Yeah, but you're playing at home. I mean, I don't know.
And you guarantee that Germany's had their hand pick of the best fields of the best pitches too, probably.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy because I think about the perception that goes on with England and all that stuff. We like Germany and Spain were the two that have been told like, oh, they look the best. Well, Spain is still kind of kept apart. You could argue that the group's been kind of weak, and Italy got kind of lucky today. But I think that's the team that's probably looked the best so far is Spain. Really, if Germany would have hit that, if they had to cruise through. But Switzerland's they made it far in the last Euros, if I'm not mistaken. So it's going to be interesting to see. I mean, it's crazy. Talk about. I was said this to Tom before you got on. The match day 3 of these groups are some of the most excitement out there. And, I think he mentioned that there's a little bit of dilution with the third place getting a chance to go through. But I think there's more dilution as we go further in this for certain, Tom, because, like you said, England knows they're through now for sure. Bare minimum at 4 points. So you could see less players or a more rotation tomorrow. But maybe that's what England needs. Someone else to get an opportunity to go out there and prove why they need to be on the field instead of the usual suspects. But
they need a new manager. That's all England needs.
Well, maybe, but I've enjoyed the hell out of these last 2 days. So, Portugal, like Brownie said there, that poor Turkish guy. I think I saw a meme rolling around that own goals is the leading golden boot right now with 6 own goals. That poor Turkish guy.
Own goals had a great 2 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. France has scored how many goals?
2.
And how many own goals has
1. No, France has scored 1.
France has scored 1. Own goal has scored 1. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like Mbappe, didn't score in that first game, but France won. So I
still got the points though.
Huh?
Yeah.
You'll take the points, yes, but I'm just saying, like, when you play, as people saying, once England plays a proper team, what happens? Anybody expecting them to make it, to the next round?
It'd be disingenuous of me to act like I have major hopes or expectations on England because everyone knows I only care about one team.
True.
The England national team.
True. Yeah. So that's what I mean. So it's it might be what Tony said. It's too many teams because even the teams that should be managing this game, seeing these games out easily, can't do it. So somebody else will get in. All right. Somebody else will get in probably. A little mistake. I mean, Italy almost opened up the door. Croatia, as soon as they put Modric on the bench, I kind of was going, is that a sign? He's going to sit there and just watch his team give up, a goal because they go from being in the next round to being pretty much out. 2 points, I don't think does it.
Gary, I'll tell you the weirdest thing about getting older, right? And I say this for the knowledge that I may be one of the younger gentlemen here. However, when like you look at a Luka Modric and people talk about him like, oh, it's his last tournament, he's an old man now, and I sit here like, I'm older than him. It's just a weird quirk about football and getting older as a person. Like they start talking about these people like tomorrow they're going to be needing a wheelchair or a Zimmer frame or whatever you want to call it.
But it's
like,
but there's levels and it's relative, Mr. Tom.
But I won't need a wheelchair tomorrow. Huh?
It's relative and there's levels to this, right? He is what considered, at some points one of the best players in the world. And soon he won't even be able to start. No, he doesn't start now, right? Doesn't start now for Real Madrid, right? Consistently. So
someone got enough time to go and get into his Philadelphia sports team's clothes.
I shouldn't even let him come on. You did that on purpose.
When he comes in, you dip out, and then because that's what happens, right? We all swap like musical chairs.
Since we already had hockey corner, can we do a vote of who wants the Oilers?
Why are you coming in? Why does Tony just come in and just start acting like he can run the show?
I asked a question.
No, it wasn't really. You didn't ask. You're not like so. If I said no, what happens?
So you're gonna start running around Twitter going, I own the trip. I own the trip. I named it trip. I own the trip. I'm the rightful owner of the trip. Not even I'm the rightful owner of the trip. I'm nothing to the trip.
I'm nothing.
I'm not even on the road trip. That's a lie. I'm on the road trip. Anyway, Alonso, welcome.
Hello. Is Tony also owner of the Fun Nelson podcast as well?
All right, so we were talking Euros, and then
I just wanted to know who wants the Oilers to win the NHL.
I know I don't.
I think the trophy should go back to Canada, where it rightfully rests.
Resides.
I don't care, quite frankly.
I kind of would like to see Florida win. They should. I watched them as they went to the Stanley Cup the first time, and then got destroyed by
Avalanche.
LA Kings. Was it? Oh, Avalanche. Right? Avalanche. Sorry. Yeah, that was just disgusting to watch.
It was when the Avalanche had Sakic and Forsberg and Tange, those guys.
Yeah, every game looked exactly the same. Close, lose. Close, lose. And guess what? Close, lose.
Well, the Panthers, Gary, they have a coach named Paul Maurice, and Paul Maurice has been known to have a bad playoffs here and there. And I think despite his team having one of the best, offenses in the league, offensively, they're not that great. So I think that's just cost them. That's what will cost them to lose this game is that, McDavid's a good player and all, but there's a way to stop him. They stopped him 3 games before that. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I you know what? When you're up 3-0, all you need to do is win 1, and it hasn't even been close. So that's not even. I don't know. There's tactics, and then there's like, dude, you can't be this close. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is when you gotta. I don't know. You gotta fight through everything. You know what? Now they have nothing else to lose now, of course, but they didn't have anything to lose the last 3 matches, and they didn't look like they were going to get anything done.
It's funny because you say that, and before that, Matthew Tkachuk was part of the Flames, Calgary Flames, and Calgary and Oilers have a big rivalry. Well, he's still hated in Edmonton despite being in Florida now. So I think there's probably an edge there. There's still some animosity between Tkachuk and the Oilers. So maybe that's what's gotten fired up.
Cool.
Wow.
What are we talking about now?
You know what? I think we should talk about the new and improved Tony Turner trip.
What are we talking about, Tony Turner, on the Tony Turner trip?
I have no idea.
Dude, you want to direct. Now I'm giving you a chance to direct, and this is what happens. Everybody's chatting, you got something to say. Everybody stops chatting, you got nothing to say.
I'm still trying to get my iPad to work, Gary.
Your iPad is the reason why you can't talk anymore? What's the iPad? I can see you, and I can hear you.
Yeah, because that's why I'm on my iPhone, because iPad won't work.
Yeah, but you don't want to talk to us?
Hi, Tony. How are you doing today, Tony? How's things going today?
So.
That's good.
Crohn's disease was flaring up this morning, so
That's tough.
Yeah.
Spencer, have you had time to go into a wrestling group and see the latest message?
No, I have not at the moment.
LA Knights entered the weekend meme special, thanks to somebody putting it in there.
So, Tony, you started trailing off a bit then. You start going.
Yeah, the iPad was acting up.
iPhone now.
I think you should finish your sentence, Tony, but without your hand hiding your words.
I was just asking if he went and looked at the latest meme.
I had not, Sonny. I'll check it out here shortly. So Gary, what's the itinerary for the trip? Let's see. What do you want to do when you go to this family reunion? Like, let's make this about you for a couple minutes here.
They've got stuff set up. So first couple of days, I'm just going to be chilling out for a little bit, and then it starts. I think on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's kind of when the big events occurred. So we're going to like a theme park. We're doing big food. It's going to be a lot of food, of course, involved. Then there'll be some games and stuff like that. So, but mainly it's to see family I had not seen in like probably all my life. So that'll be a lot of that, like meeting people who my mom may have mentioned, and now I get to see them. It's where my mom was born, so I kind of get to see where she was, one of the houses she lived in.
This is in England, right?
Huh?
This is in England too, correct?
I'm going to Guyana.
Oh, cool. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So it is. It's the last time I went to Guyana. I think I was 2 or 5. I can't remember one of those. Yeah. So it'll be interesting.
It should be fun, man.
Yeah.
Is that a direct flight from where you're at, or is it gonna? How many?
Yeah, it's a direct flight. Yeah, most it's direct because I'm flying out of New York, but most places will fly out of Miami and stuff like that because there's not many direct flights unless it's like Miami or New York. So yeah, yep.
Guyana.
So it'll be a long day tomorrow because I got to commute from home all the way to New York City and then to the airport, and then I got a 6-hour flight, I think. So yeah. Then it's gonna be probably hot there.
You bring any good material for the plane? You got a book you're gonna read or anything?
No, I'll probably just download some videos and stuff and watch them on my phone. I'm just flying JetBlue, so I can They have the video stuff.
Nice.
The only thing they say you need to have like a wired headset. I don't have any of those, so I don't know.
Yeah, that's because that's the thing. Like they'll give you headphones. Most of these planes will, you know this already, and not very good quality.
No.
I'm glad you brought that up because I need to invest in some before we take our Colorado trip. So
Yeah. No. So I'm looking. So I think tomorrow there'll be a game on. So hopefully I'll be able to at least watch the game tomorrow. What is the game tomorrow?
England play tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I'll be probably. I hopefully will be checked in by then.
You
So
are
maybe I'll get to.
absolutely not mistaken.
There's 4 games tomorrow, right?
Yep. There's
Yeah.
2 and 2, 2 at 12, and 2 at 3.
Cute.
So-
Brownie, tell everyone why they play the games at the same time. Because I know he knows.
Yeah.
Brownie,
I'm not-
football historian.
Ollie, I'm not wearing wired headphones because these are USB headphones. You need when they say wired, they mean the regular audio
Plug-in
plugs.
jack, yeah.
Yeah. So no, and you know what? I can do this.
Mm-hmm.
Good demonstration, Gary. Good demonstration.
700 points to Brownie House.
All right.
There
When
you
they
go.
said Austria versus Germany scam, does that have anything to do with the meme that you showed last week, Tom? Or am I going too deep with it? I'm just kidding.
No, it's not. Basically, because in the 1982 World Cup, the groups were, if I remember rightly, the groups were 3-team groups.
Mhm.
It was either 3-team groups in the first round or 4 teams in the first round, then dropped into Sundays. But basically, it conspired that because Algeria beat West Germany and results then went other ways, basically, it meant that if West Germany, and Algeria drew in the final group game, Algeria were going home. Yes, I'm sure it was a 3-team group because basically Algeria just had to sit and watch Germany and Austria pass the ball around to each other. It was so dodgy, FIFA had to change the rules.
I mean, what were they thinking that was 3-team groups anyway?
It didn't occur to them that former war allies would collude, basically.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Hitler would have rolled over in his grave if I knew where it was.
Probably in Argentina.
Or anything. Yeah.
Probably in Argentina somewhere.
That's a whole nother podcast for a whole nother time.
Speaking of 1944, it was pretty yummy. The oven did all the work, to be honest.
Oh, no.
Too far?
Well, we went from TV 14 out of NC 17 in theory, maybe PG 13.
I'm only
joking.
8 years. It was only 8 years ago. You should bring up that turkey you cooked. Oh, you're talking about turkey.
Yeah, I was trying to give her some props. She cooked a turkey that was full of flavor. Gary, we injected it with some Creole seasoning and air fried it in the oven. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
It's the most juicy turkey I've ever had in my life.
Oh, nice.
It may not be juicy tomorrow, but it was juicy when we took it out of the oven. So,
hey, the first 3 minutes of this show was discussing this turkey.
I was just trying to give my wife props, man. I thought she did an excellent job. She deserves praise.
Hey, I'm just saying it so your wife is like, oh, he did acknowledge my contributions. Yeah, for 3 minutes at the start of the show.
Yeah.
So rewind.
But what's funny, that's where air fryers started, because people would put like the 3 gallons of peanut oil in a fryer to fry their turkey. Another way to have juicy turkey. But then they're like, oh, people throw a frozen turkey inside of oil, and guess what happens?
They blow themselves
up.
Oil
and you get a good fire going on, but so they came up with the turkey air fryers.
Yep, but I just wanted to give her a praise, and I wanted to brag in front of her in front of Alonzo and Gary. So Tony and Tom had already heard about it. So
Cool.
I did not hear about it because I was having problems.
Well, you've heard about it now.
yep.
Gary was like an angry, stern father then. He was basically like, God damn it, you had your chance. You had your chance to order some fries. Why did you wait until I ordered my own fries to decide you want fries?
Damn right.
That's how marriage works. Me and Gary know this. This is 100% true. I don't know if the rest of your family are married. I don't know your situations, but let me just get one. Let me just get one. No, order your own stuff. He knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah. But if you go to McDonald's and you don't come back with fries, why'd you go to McDonald's? That's kind of how that's the rule.
To be honest, I did go to New Dallas today, and I did not get fries.
Yeah, well, I don't know about that rule there, but I know McDonald's. The rule is even if you went there for like dessert, still bringing back fries. You know what I mean?
I love the one when I lived in Oklahoma City. It was like a mile away, but it didn't matter if you went there at 2 p.m., 10 p.m., 3 a.m. Didn't matter. Perfectly hot fries every time. Perfect every time. So
Nice.
everybody would definitely be ordering the fries from that McDonald's. They were perfect.
For the record, I actually ended up getting 12 hot wings and 4 chicken strips.
No.
Wow.
It was delicious as well. I'd do it again. Brownie wants me to mention the Scots have basically got a monopoly on, the only reason we don't do well in international football competition is because our population is smaller than England's. When Brownie, if you go on his channel into his community tab, he actually has broken it down that Russia has a significantly higher population in England and generally doesn't really do well at all. They haven't done well since they were the Soviet Union, some would say.
Yep.
But then he also wrote down that Wales do a lot better than Scotland, despite having a smaller population than Scotland, I believe. I could be wrong on this, but Brownie breaks it down. It was actually quite interesting.
Well, England supposedly is better than America, right? In world football.
I would argue we are better than America at men's national team football.
Men's football, not women's, but yeah.
Is anybody better than bottling world football better than the Netherlands?
What?
They do. The Netherlands always screw it up. It doesn't matter how good of a team
Dutch,
they
Tony.
They just fuck up in the knockout rounds every time. Every time.
This Dutch team, I think this Dutch team is going to be all right.
No,
I don't know who's going to win the Euros. I have no clue right now. Like I said, Spain looks the best right now, but I have no clue what's truly going to happen after what Germany did on Sunday. There's no telling.
Okay, I don't know whether they want me to draw attention to this, but Holly says, I just want one, to which Spencer immediately typed, that's what she said. Almost as if they pre-planned it.
Yeah.
Almost. Anyway, the amount of chips in KFC is laughable. Laughable. Plus Croatia. Yeah, he did actually. Yeah. Croatia have got a tiny population.
3 million.
They've finished. I think they've finished 4th in the World Cup like twice.
Yeah.
I may be slightly wrong on that. Oh, I think they finished.
Well,
4th
there's something to the effect of team, right? Coaching and playing as a team, playing as one.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And then also having a world-class player on your team makes it,
Yeah.
I mean, you got one, and you're playing as a team. It works best for you. I mean,
That's really
US.
probably all you need.
When's the last time US has had a world-class player on their squad, men's side?
I always thought Clint Dempsey was a good player. Personally.
World-class. I mean, he played for Fulham. I don't think Fulham was, don't think that highlighted that he wasn't
He did
looking
go
like a
to
world-class
Tottenham
player.
eventually.
So he got even worse. So
No, that just explains it. No, that explains your bias. That explains. As soon as I said it out loud, I was like, "Yep, that's why he's not going to acknowledge that."
He's
Yeah,
the best. He's the best US player during my lifetime. So.
yeah.
Who's that, Tony?
The best in England,
Dempsey.
though. But I mean, for the U.S. team, do you think he was better than Donovan?
Yeah.
I think Donovan was better for U.S. than Dempsey was for me. That's what I mean. Dempsey having a bad day, yeah. I don't know. I think Donovan was better for U.S. though. So I don't know. Yeah, I think for me Donovan, but yeah.
I think Pulisic could have been that, but he doesn't stay healthy.
Yep.
That's the problem. If Pulisic
he gave him a good game, right? And now he gets beat up, right?
Yeah.
How many of you have said Alexi Lalas? Because you'd all be wrong.
Nobody would say Alexi Lalas.
He turned up in an episode of Hell's Kitchen. I was like, "What are you doing here, Alexi Lalas?"
You never know what he's gonna say with a microphone near him.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we can also say that about you.
Very true.
And I wouldn't be stretching to put you in my list of world-class American players.
It's funny because I remember there was a time that, Bob Bradley, right? He always had Michael Bradley as captain. And that was kind of the most frustrating times in USA soccer because, you had a good midfield with the exception of Bradley. And it seemed like the coach or Bradley's son would always mess up. And, we had good teams. It's just that we could never muster a couple wins together to advance or be better. And build off those wins in the World Cups, meaning get out of the knockout rounds more often than not. And a lot of that went on the coach because we had world class players like Clint Dempsey, like Landon Donovan. But you always play Josie Altidore, who's useless. All the time he came into USA out of form. So having a real natural goal scorer really hurt USA's chances to become better because we held on to so much of the past as well.
It's also probably they didn't embrace the youth,
Right, exactly.
Because youth weren't even going into football, soccer. You know what I mean? So some of your best athletes are still like, I'd rather do basketball, baseball, football, hockey.
That's the thing. It's like soccer is about the last one they're to pick for whatever reason. Mainly lack
But what's
of pay
crazy
in
is
the
a lot
US.
of kids play soccer.
Mm-hmm.
Like the number of kids that play soccer is higher than most other sports. Like everybody at least once played soccer, it seems. Then they kind of go off and do whatever they want. But I think everybody. You look at the amount of kids that play soccer; it's a large number.
I was gonna go back on this earlier when Spencer was talking about NFL and concussions, but you have football, which has way more concussions than American football. You get these guys that get knocked out all the time on headers. Of course they are, Tom.
Where did you get this from? Is this some
these aerial duels? They're at least 3 or 4 times a match. You see them knock heads very hard.
Is this a peer-reviewed study?
But that's not even part of. Like they don't hit each other on every play. Like every play, at least 5 to 6 people on each side of the field are hitting each other.
It
helmet
sounds
to
like
helmet,
you've just
though.
made that up, Tony, to be honest.
No.
Okay.
And
That's why.
And do you
That's
believe
why
that a lot
in
of those guys are actually getting hurt though, Tony? Because
that's why in girls football here in the States they got rid of headers. So.
because you know why? Because one head injury is too much. Not because everybody's getting head injuries, but one is just too much.
I'm not saying you're wrong, Tony, as in because they are looking to ban heading from children in the English in the English game specifically. But I think saying that the injuries are less than American football is where I think you are lying / wrong.
I mean, there's crane every time a ball is snapped in the NFL. 5 linemen and 4 defensive
That's what I
linemen.
just said, dude. You're gonna repeat the same thing I said?
Well, it didn't sink in the first time, Gary. So I was doing the ring. You know what I'm saying? I'm Robin. You're Batman. You know what I'm saying?
You're not hitting that freaking hard up.
They are hitting each other.
They're not
every
hitting each
play,
other hard.
What do you think a rugby scrum has too? A rugby scrum. How many times those guys had heads, and they don't even have helmets?
They have the little padded things on their head.
If I said like 50 times a game, people are going at each other, bang. You're saying that doesn't build up to like at least just one head-to-head contact in a football match, on a cross? I think it's more.
Alonso,
I don't think so.
I'm gonna need your help here. I need you to eviscerate this argument. You're like a hungry dog on his leash. Sick him, boy, sick him. Get him.
So we're talking about concussions, right? In sports.
Yep.
Yeah.
So when I played football, soccer, there are a lot of times that I've heard people who were in the same area I live in have concussion issues. And they were played again, or their career was cut short because of how concussions can damper their playing for the future. So it's kind of sad because here in the Woodlands, where I live at, a lot of people play soccer, and a lot of people play for club and for their school. Is how they do it here. And so I've heard a lot of stories about how kids in their teens can't play no more because of concussion issues or concussion syndrome-like issues. So at that age, their brain is growing to where it could hamper some things. Not as much, but it does affect their livelihood, where they have headaches and all that. So it can be kind of risky. Because you're going for headers, you're going for the ball, the air in the ball, and all that, trying to retrieve it, what have you, and or you could hit the post as well. And there have been injuries where you could go for a goal, and then right now a goalie as well go for trying to stop a goal from happening, and they hit their head like Pierre Check. They always years ago, and then you also have sometimes rarely had the boot to the head, so that can cause a concussion also. So there's a lot of reasons why concussions can happen in football. So it's a risk you take growing up playing football, soccer, hockey, field hockey, lacrosse. So that's a risk.
I just remember. I mean, I played American football when I was younger, and Papa Warner. One of the things I do remember is that we spent a large percentage of our time working on our neck neck strength, basically. We spent probably about 10, 15 minutes just on doing different things to strengthen our neck. Learning, you're supposed to hit what you see, and that's the problem in American football. They don't hit what they see. It's a simple thing. They put their head down and They become a projectile, and then players' legs are a lot stronger than they used to be. And guess what? You run into one of those trunks, it's not going to feel good on your head. So, I think they have less practice time now. So they don't even hit. They don't even know what a hit is sometimes. They probably go a whole week without actually hitting. And then they play in a game, and you see them go out there and they lay each other out because they don't really practice. So everything they've done to protect the sport has made it even more dangerous, I think. Because if they don't practice, if they don't actually hit and practice, they go into a game. They don't know how best to tackle when you've done it and you get a stinger in practice. But if you never do it in practice, you never know. And you go into a game and you're all hyped up in a game, and you go like 100%, right? So I kind of feel like everything they've done to protect the game has made it even worse, even more of an issue, because these guys don't know how to tackle. If you tackle with your head up, you're less likely to get knocked out. Most of the time, it's when you go down. A few times it's when you just get hit out of nowhere, and that happened to me one time when I was younger. I was running into the hole and running back, turned the corner, whack right on me, and I was just laid out. I was like, oh, okay, all right. Got up, I was good to go, but I felt like we did a lot more practice hitting, a lot more practice strengthening our necks. I don't think they do that at all. So that's just my take on it.
I would imagine, and they still probably do about as much as
they don't practice as much as they did. I mean, they don't.
Yeah, but
players ask for less.
I know that part, Gary, but I'm just saying they still do warm ups, and like you said,
they
10,
don't
15 minutes
hit.
of warm up.
Tony, they don't hit.
I know that.
So then, if they don't hit, then they don't know what it feels like to hit someone until game time.
They're still building up their neck, Gary.
No, I'm telling you, they don't. It's not the same. I don't believe it is, anyways. And the more you see injuries like that, the less I believe they are practicing that way.
I just don't think they teach them how to make a damn tackle. It's not hard.
Yeah.
Aim for the numbers. Keep your head to the outside. And everybody will be fine.
You as they say, if you hit them right you go for the hips. The hips don't lie. If you look at everything else, the hips are always there. You hit them right there, boom, and they go straight down.
Well, it's funny.
The best tackle, if anybody remembers, is you hit with you lead. Your face mask hits them basically right in the stomach, chest, and then you grab underneath the butt, pull up, and boom, they go down. They don't do that anymore. Don't do that anymore. That's how we practiced tackling back in the days, back in the
no grab ass in the
90s. I didn't say grab. I didn't say that. You didn't listen to a word I said, did you, Tony?
Yes, I did.
I suspect Gary should set up a poll in the community tab. Is Tony right or is Tony wrong?
Well, why even bother with the Tony right part?
Give him a bit of hope. That's what we do, right?
Yeah.
That's what we do. We provide hope.
Yeah. No, I get. You know what? Like I said, I just think, athletes don't practice the same, and they try to do the same things. That's why everything doesn't look the same. I mean, nobody wants to stick their head in there. You see it all the time. All right. Nobody wants to stick their head in there. All right. Because guess what? You might get hurt. Guess why? And then if you get hurt, guess what? You might lose your money. All right. A defender who will duck on a cross coming in goes over their head in for a goal. Why they do that? They won't take that ball straight to the face. They'll save a goal, but yeah.
So
they are too soft. I think
Tony,
the money's gotten too big. So they want to stay rich.
Yeah. That leads to a bigger question, Tony. Would you be afraid to take a ball to the face?
No.
So you'd happily take a ball to the face to prove
Well,
toughness.
Should do it for charity.
Tony's happy taking balls to the face.
If you took balls to the face for charity before, Tony.
Gary took
That's.
it to NC-17 again.
I didn't say anything. I just said I was just following
You
suit.
just had balls to my
Have
face.
you taken soft balls to the face?
Off a jugs machine.
I mean, as long as you know it's coming
Stefan.
towards you.
Stefan wants to see Tony do the analysis on Super Sunday on Sky.
The one that really sucks is baseballs to the face. That sucks.
That's
Everything
why,
else
Dave.
isn't that
If
bad.
you were willing to take a ball to the face, then I wouldn't want you on my team. Do you want to make it onto Brownie's team?
Yeah, you know it'd be on Brownie's team.
Yeah,
Gary does it.
Brownie's all about taking balls to the face.
Show us how much you respect Brownie by taking a ball to the face. Is that too far?
Yeah.
Ball to the face sounds like bollocks to me, says Stefan.
Never mind with bollocks.
Very good. Very good.
Yep.
Okay. Well, carry on while I take down some photographs from Monday night.
Yeah, kind of not PG, Holly, right? Yeah.
That's not PG. That's right. That's really. What would you say the rating of this show has been so far, gentlemen?
I don't know.
I don't know what it was before I got here. I could only assume it was not PG.
It's very PG.
It wasn't bad.
It's a 4 out of 5. Oh, we're talking about ratings like parental guidance ratings. My bad.
Like if
Definitely.
it was a movie.
4 out of 5. I was like, I don't know what that is.
Well, I would recommend it to my pastor up to some extent of the time, and then the other time, like, I don't think you want to hang out for this one. So that would be my rating. So,
So would it be mature?
Rated R Superstar. That's how I rate this.
It want to be MA like I do on TV.
Yeah.
Oh no! Did you say rated R Superstar?
Yeah.
That is not
PG.
good.
Not PG. Like the
It's
T.
not good.
Yeah. Steven says he took a puck to the head, cracked his goalie mask. 3 weeks to get right. Concussions are not fun. Yeah. Yeah. Concussions aren't good.
That's why I'm surprised they don't wear even like heavier headgear in hockey. So puck is no joke getting whacked with it.
Oh, they got to stick in some big gloves, right? Yeah, that is true. Eric Lindros' career got too many concussions, comes back concussion, comes back concussion. He did win
he was.
Did he win? He did win a Stanley Cup though, didn't he?
No. So he went. They played the Red Wings in 1997, I think, and the Red Wings were a juggernaut back then. So they traded him to the Rangers. Then he went to Maple Leafs, then the Stars, and then I think he retired after that. But yeah, he had a lot of talent, and I was looking at the trade that involved the Nordiques and Lindros. It was a pretty big, trade tree. To this day, it's the most lopsided trade of all time, it seems like. So there's a lot of players involved, a lot of future picks, players involved. It's a big mess. Anyway, he was on his way to becoming a pretty good player. He won the Hart Trophy, I think, a couple of times. Maybe once, 95. The year that Scott Stevens did a choo-choo train concussion on him in the 2000 playoffs. That basically probably ended his career, but he was never the same after that hit. Yeah, it was nasty.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a new segment. Alonso's big hit of the week. But But also, we'll always follow from the newest segment for Tony called Tony's Ball to the Face of the Week.
You know what? I don't think I want that segment. I think we're gonna have to. That doesn't even. Yeah, no. Sorry, Tony. It's got. It didn't even get started. It's been pulled.
Nope. Tom's the captain, the leader today. So what Tom says goes.
No, I don't care what Tom is.
You're supposed to not be.
You know what? I'm trying to keep you from keeping balls off your face, but you can say like you want ball on your face. I don't get it.
Tom keeps saying ball, and you keep going plural. I don't want ball to the face.
Well, if one ball hits you and another ball hits you, isn't that two balls?
You don't want balls to the face.
Not in pairs, Tom. Separately,
but you don't mind a solitary ball to the face.
As long as it's not testicle balls.
So basically, sorry.
What you
basically said to me
no
is you're an equal opportunist. Now, you're an equal opportunist, and basically, if that gentleman has come out of remission or something like that, but has obviously got a solitary ball, you would happily take that to the face.
No ball at the time.
But you said that. You basically are discriminating against people with two balls. Discrimination, some would say.
Tony, I was trying to keep the balls off your face, and you said no. I'll take at least one. What you said.
Yeah, but you wanted multiple balls to my face.
You're okay having one, so I'm trying to keep you from having any balls on your face. Oh, I'm trying to help you. I don't know. It sounds like you're okay with.
I don't think you appreciate.
I have a question for you, Gary.
Sorry, Gary, he's got a question.
I got a question for you, Gary.
Yes, sir.
Dallas Cowboys trade Herschel Walker for about 8 linemen.
For about 3 Super Bowls. What do you mean?
Yeah. And how during that time with probably one of the best offensive and defensive linemen of NFL history, how the fuck does Troy Aikman end up with 8 career concussions as a Dallas Cowboy?
He's not strong.
He's not strong. He doesn't know how to stay behind.
You know why? If you hold on to the ball long, he doesn't have a quick release, right? He's not Dan Marino, right?
Yeah, but he's
not Dan Marino, right? So he holds onto the ball a lot longer than and he could hold on to it because the offensive line was so good. I think you're looking at just one side of the thing. I think he held on the ball a lot longer than he needed to, or he could. Yeah. You didn't have because you didn't have a quick release.
60% of the time he's handing it to Emmett, then the rest of it he's throwing short passes.
But then he's waiting for that long pass, right?
Because he usually threw for like 200 yards a game. That's about it.
Yeah, you're answering your questions. I don't understand.
I just don't understand how the guy ended up with 8 concussions with a great.
We just talked about it. He's not a good passing quarterback.
That's why Barry Switzer said, "Nope, you're not going to play for Oklahoma. You can go transfer to."
Yeah, and then he ended up winning a Super Bowl for him. So you know what? Interesting, isn't that?
Outrageous.
The man won you a Super Bowl, and you didn't want to give him a college scholarship. Interesting. Imagine that.
He didn't win it. The lineman won it, Gary.
He was on the team, wasn't he? Oh, so the quarterback had nothing to do with it?
That's like fucking Spencer. They're trying to say that the last Super Bowl Broncos won was because of the guy that does all the commercials.
All right.
You're going for Manning won you a Super Bowl. Is that what you're saying, Spencer?
He did.
You
don't get to the Pittsburgh game without Manning throwing 2 touchdowns. It's all part of the journey. What's the motto of the trip?
Yeah.
It's a journey. You're talking about one game. You don't win without a quarterback.
Basically, they took out Cam Newton. That was all she wrote.
Peyton Manning comes in there in Week 17 to relieve Brock Osweiler and gets them through to the playoffs. And then you got to do the AFC Championship game. He does a game-winning drive, and the defense makes.
They were.
But they weren't
would
going
have won.
There's no guarantee of that. There's no guarantee.
They wanted to lose that game.
In the Super Bowl game itself, he didn't do much, but he didn't have to do much because Cam Newton showed his.
Well, no, I mean they took Cam Newton out of the game. I mean that strip six, right? Basically, was kind of how that game was going.
They had him shook. Yep. It was the initial play in the first half.
That's like saying Dallas shouldn't have beat Pittsburgh in the Super Bowl, but what's his name? Just love passing the ball to
Larry Brown.
Larry Brown, yeah.
But you can't sit there and it's the same thing with Trent Dilfer in the 2000 Ravens. He still made plays in their season. He played a critical part.
Yeah, and you know what?
Of all people that played the less part,
and he wasn't a criminal, man. You imagine that? Yeah. And he got to say, "I'm going to Disney World because he's not a criminal."
Well, here's the thing: you could argue about Trent Dilfer. He probably did the least amount of any quarterback in NFL history to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, he did nothing. If you want,
if they wouldn't have won that Super Bowl, Kyle Bowler back there. That's all I'm going to say.
You know what? They probably could have. They were that good of a defense.
You see Kyler Bowler throw a lot of those interceptions in 2008. But no, I understand what you're saying.
Would you throw those interceptions if you look on the bench and there's a linebacker there,
Kyle
Ray?
Kyle Bowler was there when Ray was there.
Yeah. Was he throwing picks all the time?
That's probably why he didn't last that long.
Well, I'm just saying that is what? Sometimes you get a little bit of influence from your leaders on the defensive side. Don't mess this up for me.
It's a true thing. It's a true thing. But Tony.
That's why I always like, when you have the offensive and defensive coaches, and I'm like, if you're really good defense, the one thing you can't do as an offense is give the team back the ball when because it's stupid stuff.
Yeah.
Stupid plays. Same thing like with Arsenal, right? Their defense is going to hold most teams to no goals. So offense, you just have to score once. We probably got this. Well, how many games did we go without scoring? Yeah. And when they put a lot of money into the attack.
Yeah, that's
put a lot more money into that defense.
Who did?
Arsenal.
They did?
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Go look what they've spent on center backs and fullbacks for the last 5-6 seasons.
Yeah, lately for sure.
It would be probably 350 to 450
they haven't put any
pounds.
money in. Yeah, right. Barely any money into because you know what? Because they had Eddie Nketiah. I mean, and Milshift Rowe, and Reece Nelson. Like I said, like Arsenal will take. They will take risks on attacking players, but not really on defensive players.
They'll take risks on who I say they will.
Yeah. Just think about it, like Nuno Tavares, right? How many chances did he get until it was like, nah, this ain't gonna work anymore. You got to go. But Nketiah and Milshift Rowe, Nelson, they don't give consistent performances, but they still are on the team. Why is that?
Because you can win sometimes in spite of those players, but if you have a liability in the back,
how many games did we lose because we didn't have a potent attack? Yeah, the games that we lost, right?
So, if we score less than they do, yeah. I mean, it's.
Well, no, I mean that's what happened, right? We actually had a game, right? That how many times did we touch the ball in the box and got nothing out of it, right? I mean it's sad.
You still build championships off of defense. That's why we are where we
You
are.
can't
because
win matches 0-0. We know this. So
we know that.
you need to be able to score. So I think as much as we give the credence to the defense, you got to be able to score as well.
But it's easier to get a 1-0 win when you got those guys back there. I mean, I know what you're saying.
I disagree that it's just defense all alone, because I think, you know.
Tom, you know this one. You're the resident historian here. How many champions win the league by being the team giving up the most goals, or even not being?
No, see, now you're going all off. Now you're going all the extremes.
But I'm talking about.
One minute you're talking about, like, if you have the best defense, and I'm saying you don't have to have the best defense to win. Now you go, oh wait, what if you give up goals more than anybody else? That's you're right. That's not going to help you.
My
But
argument
if you can't score, it doesn't matter whether your defense give up a goal or not. You're not going to win a game, right? There's got to be a happy medium there. You got to give and take. You don't have to necessarily have the best defense all the time, but you got to have some offense.
But our improvement is definitely based on the defense. I mean, Saliba and Gabrielle and Raya. I mean, those three right there, and then adding Rice into there and just creating this defensive solid background where you can go win some of these games 1-0. I mean,
you got to score one, and we can't score the one. That's the problem for me. We can't score that one.
But we scored the most goals last year too, and still didn't win.
You got to score the one goal that you're talking about, right? In the games where you need to score one goal, we didn't do it.
Because we were a clean sheet against Newcastle and Aston Villa, so we didn't score those games that mattered at the end. So
I'm just a defensive guy. I love my defense, man.
No, defense
helps
helps win, but you need to be able to score as well.
Boring. Basically, Spencer is going a really lovely way about saying, you know what? I love my sport. It's painfully boring.
I like to set up like Mourinho.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to tell me all about your Broncos, but then you're going to tell me, you had Terrell Davis, you had Elway, and you know what? Guess what? When you won Super Bowls with Elway, it wasn't all about the defense.
That 2016 team was definitely about the defense,
so. But you had Elway. You had one of the best quarterbacks in the world on your team.
Who wouldn't want Eddie in their team? Got to score, Spencer. That's what she said.
No. It's like having a world-class player on the attack, right? It doesn't matter if all the other guys suck, but you have a world-class player on the attack.
That's all I need.
They will answer the call. We don't have one though. Arsenal
all
doesn't
I need
have
is
that one.
Give me a world-class striker and give me a great defensive team, and I'll win every game.
We don't got that guy. We don't have that one world-class attacker.
Guys, you're up against cheats.
Yeah. No, we
115 of them.
Until somebody says so, they're not cheats yet. All right, and I don't think any of us expect it to happen, right? They're gonna change the rules. They're gonna let things, just hang around, just drag out until everybody forgets about it.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of what's gonna happen.
Let me tell you something, brother. Are you just gonna continue to ramble on about your eccentricities in sport and stuff? Because otherwise, I'm just gonna sit here and get my Monday Night Raw photos. Be delicious.
Who's gargling?
That's Tony doing something.
Tony is basically murdering a plastic animal, it seems.
That could go so many ways.
I mean...
You know what? Tony, you can't be doing that on the screen. I don't know. This ain't that kind of show.
I'll solve that problem for everyone.
No, you should turn off the camera too, because I don't know. It just doesn't sound right. Whatever he's doing there. Yeah.
Oh, there's an option to ban him from the studio.
I don't know, I don't think we're doing that.
I'm just saying, it's there.
This is the best commentary you've had all day, Tony. Yeah, I agree with that too, Tony. That's great. It's a good take. What else you got?
Tony, hold on. Did Tony just admit he was wrong?
I think I heard that. Yes.
He did.
Oh,
Yes.
He did.
Finally, we get to hear it.
He finally admitted that Saliba was always going to play.
He was not always going to play.
Yeah, he was.
No, he wasn't. You had him saying home was at Marseille. I want
Here
to
we
play
go.
at Marseille. He vocally said that. His
Here we
agent
go.
said that he wanted starting minutes. Arsenal would have promised him that. Then
If you're
fucking
Virgin,
Ben
say
White
what?
gets hurt. Then fucking shit changes.
If you're Virgin, say you weren't going to play.
He wasn't going to play.
so
Ben White got hurt.
Sky is blue. Saliba still loves you.
When did Ben White get hurt?
He got hurt and
I thought it was. I thought it was Megalish.
June or July.
They weren't playing in June, July, Tony.
He got hurt.
This is amazing.
They play in July. We got friendly coming up.
There are
They're in
friendlies.
July.
There are friendlies in July. I'll give him that. There are friendlies. So what he's saying is can be plausible, but he is wrong.
What's going on right now? What month is it, Tom?
June.
We're in June.
Are we playing world football? We
All right,
got
let me ask you
several
another question,
competitions going.
What season are you talking about?
It would have been 2 seasons ago.
Oh, what, so you're talking about summer where there was no world football in the summer?
No football.
There was no football in the summer, though. You just said that. There's a world tournament in summer, even though you're talking about summer where there wasn't. Even though I was actually in the process of defending you, saying that they were playing in July, but then you had to go and start.
We're playing in June now.
You got a bit too clever. You did what you usually do.
There's still games going on, Tom. They're playing world football.
Was Ben White playing world football in June of 2022?
He got hurt, Tom. Don't know if it's June or July.
Yeah, but you're so hot on the subject, so you should know when he got hurt. I don't care when he got hurt. It's not on me to prove it.
No,
I really don't give a shit.
You're talking about the back injury for Saliba?
No. Ben White getting hurt.
Ben White getting hurt. Oh. I don't know about that. I'll check it out.
It's bollock to the face, some would say.
Let's see. Ben White.
Yeah, he got injured on June 32nd. I want to hear Tony on Alexa. Being found guilty by FIFA is like being accused by the Tories of being corrupt. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting stuff. So,
well,
you got any more things for us, Tony?
I love revisionist history.
He will say anything to get out of being wrong.
It's a fucking opinion to begin with.
But it's not, though, is it?
Yeah, it is.
But your opinion is that factually he only played because someone got injured. That's not an opinion. It's either true or it's not true, Tony. That's not an opinion.
He doesn't know what that means.
Okay,
Things changed because Ben White was hurt.
I found an open lineup for the match day 1 for 2022-2023, right? It had Ramsdale, Ben White, Saliba, Gabriel, Zinchenko, Partey, Xhaka, Saka, Odegaard, and Martinelli, and Jesus.
So they both played?
Yeah.
So what's he arguing?
He's saying that Ben White was injured. Didn't he say that?
But he played in this game.
No. Didn't the man say his opinion was Ben White was injured, and that's how Saliba got the start?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Remember? That's what he said. His opinion.
I'm really lost in this one. I'm usually really good at these things.
Tony said that Ben White didn't start, so Saliba started because Ben White was hurt. Biden just said the lineup for the first game of the season that Ben White was healthy enough to play the game first game of the season. Saliba started as well.
Did you play the Community Shield in that particular season?
I don't know. It was fucking Saliba's first season.
But you do know,
Arsenal, whatever.
Because you won't admit you're possibly wrong, so you clearly know.
It's the first fucking season once Saliba played, whatever fucking year that is.
2022, 2023.
He's moving the goalposts now. It's fine. He's doing what he does.
Yeah, let's see what his stats were. You said 2022, right?
QR code. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, he played in the he played 90 minutes. No, wait, that's no, he didn't play if we had a community show, he didn't play in it. So but he did play 27 games. Let's see what he did here. This is give me the breakdown. Current season.
You have to look at a 21-22 season, Gary.
21-22 season?
Yep.
What am I looking for?
We was talking about the summer of 2022 for the last 10 minutes.
Yeah.
That year started.
He got hurt in 2022.
You're talking about Ben White? Is that what you're talking about?
Yep.
That year finished 5th.
No, we didn't play in the. Let's see. Ben White.
His replacement was Rob Holding. Because we lost to City that game, and Ben White was hurt. As a Saliba.
It really doesn't matter, Polly. It absolutely does not matter. There is just a larger point at play.
Yeah. I mean, he started. Yeah, I mean, the man played. No, he only played center back at the end of the season. So, there you go. Anyways, Saliba is our starting center back right now, and what did Brownie say? I immediately.
Brownie's right.
What do you mean he immediately thought of me? I don't know what that means. I wanted him to stay and play. Yeah. But I think they took the risk that he'll come back better, and he did. So there you go. And many people have said playing him with that back line that we had would be detrimental to his football.
In Denmark.
Yeah.
Because when Sleeper was on loan in France, you were constantly complaining.
Yeah, because we had terrible center backs. Do you remember who they were? They were terrible.
Who were they?
I'm trying to nix that out of my brain.
Who were they, Tony?
Well, one of them was one of them would have been Mega Legs.
All right, the better of the other four. But what were the other four? You don't remember now?
It would have been Mustafi, David Luiz, and
David Luiz didn't play because Margulis quickly took his spot. Because guess what? He got injured right early in the season, and then Margulis played pretty much after that. I didn't think David Luiz is that bad. I know a lot of people do, but I didn't think he was that bad. Not when you've got Mustafi and Holding and others.
Yeah, but he directly cost us points by the red cards. Okay.
He was put in those situations by poor defense ahead of him.
He didn't have to. So one of them was really stupid on his part. He could have just let the player go out to his right, but instead he put the shoulder in there. The player drove into his shoulder.
Brownie says he was too young for the Premier League then. Let's be honest, Arsenal have managed Saliba fantastically well.
Yeah.
Not according to Tony, they haven't. They lucked into it.
Tony wanted him to play with Mustafi and Holden. That's what he wanted.
Can we get Tony on a question of sport?
Tony, if Saliba played with Mustafi, and how would he have? How would his career be right now?
Well, he wouldn't be playing with Mustafi because Mustafi played right center back. Saliba plays right center back, so he wouldn't have been playing with him, Gary. He would have been playing next to Gabriel Magalhaes.
And how would his career look?
Look the same because he'd be next to Gabriel.
So two young center backs trying to help each other through a Premier League season. You think that's a good plan?
Hey, it's better than having one of your players have worse positional awareness than a traffic cone has, Gary.
Who's that?
Being Colonel Mustard. Colonel Mustard.
Yeah.
Always drifted to his right, leaving a hole there on the right side of a goal that teams always used, or they just locked the ball over.
Every time I heard Mustafi and playing, I see Mustafi playing, I would hear that Benny Hill song.
Then you always hear he's a World Cup winner. That's the silly fact. It's like, who cares if they're on a team that didn't win the World Cup because of?
But him and Ozil were World Cup winners.
I think Mustafi would play left back as well on that winning team, like when they won the World Cup, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So, Tony, at one point, didn't you also want Guendouzi to stay?
I always wanted Guendouzi to stay.
Same here.
How come?
Well, why would you not want Guendouzi?
Because
he was a fucking nutcase.
He wasn't a nutcase.
Fucking nutcase.
He was.
I like the Guendouzi.
That was great. I loved that.
I love
Fucking
Guendouzi.
nutcase. Oh, good.
He
hung out with Aubameyang, aka Aubameyang, and he hung out with Lacazette and Pepe and all those guys. So it kind of, made him worse. It seems like he was too busy trying to fit in the clique they had.
Who was in the clique, Tony?
I don't know if they were a clique. They had a party where they all used nitrous oxide, but
They did what?
they called it like
Yeah.
Tony's an Arsenal party insider.
No,
that's
that's
where
an
it came
actual
from.
legit article. They
Yeah, I
busted.
know.
Yeah, they busted the whole team at some bar taking nitrous oxide hits or something.
And somebody leaked the photo to the press,
Yeah.
and Quinjeezy was totally passed out.
Yeah, this
You
is
know
a legit
what?
story.
I solved this crime already. I can exclusively reveal the man who squealed to the press was
Tony Turner.
this
That's
man,
Tom?
Tony
No, it
Turner.
wasn't.
Yeah,
it was not me. No.
It was 100% you. It was definitely you.
I can't. What do you guys call it? Like hippie juice or something stupid?
We call it Tony Juice.
No, but
I
you
you know
they
what?
call it like hippie something.
Oh, I wouldn't
It's
drink
just
something called
laughing
Tony
gas.
Turner juice.
Hey,
You know
Tom.
what? You know what? This is now. This is getting,
Nah.
no. Can we
Nah,
move on
that's
from
it.
that
Nah.
comment?
Hey,
Yeah.
hey, Tom. You know who didn't report anything to the press? Michael Jackson, the '60s top star.
Yeah, you know what? Because of that, I'm gonna have to leave the show in protest for Tony Goose. So I'm sorry, guys. I'm gonna have to use the little boys' room briefly.
Are you bringing back Macaulay Culkin's best friend?
Oh, hope not. Oilers and Panthers still tied at 1 with 9 minutes left in the second period. All right. Well, Panthers are showing that they at least came to play. Not going to roll over.
Hey, everybody! This is
Hey, Michael.
It's just, you know what?
How's Macaulay doing?
No.
Just needed him. I just can't. No.
Oh, come on.
And Mr. Tong goes to
Hey,
the bathroom.
Steve! What's going on in hockey?
Hey, Michael.
Hello, young man.
How's Bubbles?
How are you doing?
I'm okay.
This is Mike Tyson. I must go now. My planet needs me.
Bye, Michael.
Bye, everybody.
Yeah.
Put you on the air, Mike Tyson.
Oh, hey, everybody.
Oh, hi,
That was a
Tom.
quick smell in the toilet.
Every time you go to the bathroom, the show just gets bad.
Gary's banning you from toilet breaks, Tom.
Yeah. Every time you leave the door open, somebody walks in and takes over. You lock that down.
In reality, it's Tom's dad that comes in and plays the role of Michael Jackson.
Thank you, Tom.
Okay.
Tom won't ban me because he thought that was pretty cool, very funny.
That did amuse me.
Are we
Hey,
in the
Gary.
show now because we're like
What's up?
2 hours and 11 minutes?
Do you have your laptop and the computer TV beside you?
Do I have what?
A TV and a laptop beside next to each other?
I don't have any TVs where I am right now. I just have computers.
So you watch the games on your computer then?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, Panthers scored.
Oh, there you go. They need to score. They need to do a avalanche and score late in the third just to finish it off. Give Oilers no hope. Because
Some may
Oilers
say
got
that I'm doing dirty here, but Ollie claimed it's going to overtime.
It was
Still got another period to
Versaghi.
go. So
It's 3 minutes ago though when you said it. To be fair, so
It was Versaghi that scored.
yeah.
and
Verhage.
can't wait for Tony's Elvis impression. Do you have an Elvis impression? He does not have an Elvis impression.
Not one I can use with just one leg.
Well, they mean your voice, Tony.
Oh.
We weren't expecting you to do the whole song and dance routine, sir.
Hey, Tony, it seems
Yeah.
Suspicious Minds.
It's funny that Elvis was actually a good actor.
I think it's shameful. But to be fair, and I hate defending them, but you know, what did they actually do? Because it was all media shit, wasn't it? And I know clubs feed the media, but what did factually Manchester United do? I mean, we all know what they did because of the media, but it's all from the media. So I don't know what they actually did.
Are you actually defending Man United for once, though?
Well, I feel dirty for doing so, but I think it's a fair question to say, like, it's all media speculation, is it not?
I'd have to take a shower after this segment, Tom.
Well,
I think he brings up a good point. Because a lot of the stuff and especially even worse over in England, like half the stuff is just made up. Like there was a guy that went on a Everton podcast, and I think on Talk Sport he says, "Well, our job is to make traction or I can't remember who it was, but it was like we have to move the dial, so we create narratives, we create stories." So how much of this Man United stuff of Man United actually getting rid of Ten Hag was even true to begin with? We don't know. Nobody really knows. All these people that claim to be club insiders, what do they know? Just because they talk to the kit man doesn't mean they actually know what's going to happen. But, I mean, it's the culture of the English media. If Man United aren't doing well, then I guess the manager's going to be getting rid of. But Tom's got a point. What did we really know? I bet winning the FA Cup had a big impact on them keeping him.
That's poor planning on their part. Like, if that's all it took for him to keep his job, then,
Yeah, but didn't they say they were to take time and review the season, then make the decision on lots of things on the club besides just his job?
Did you see them physically apologise to him, or was it something you read in the media?
And that's the point. And did we even hear Man
United? That could have been
United?
something that never happened. I'm not saying Brownley's lying. That's not the point that we're making here. The point is, it's a whole lot of stories that you don't know whether they're true or not.
Jim White
because ultimately, they're still in the same spot they were a month ago.
Yeah.
I mean, Jim White and Simon Jordan, they operate in what if.
Yeah.
If this winning keeps his job, then that's not a good sign, right? Like, you got to see like a future with this guy, right? Just because they have a good day doesn't mean it's gonna fix what they've been asking for, which is a sustained quality team that's gonna win trophies every year, like the big trophies, all right?
There you go. All right, so he has seen it. It came out of his mouth.
Okay.
But in my defence, I'm not watching Man United news play out on Dutch media.
Yeah.
But still, I don't think it's an unfair question to pose to that.
Yeah. Well, I definitely don't think it's a way to run a club.
No.
I don't think that's the way to run a club for sure. So on that note, no, it's not. That wasn't professional, and not good at all. So I kind of feel like, yeah, it could come back to haunt them, all right? Because what happens, if nothing changes from one season to the next, right? And they're in the same boat again. Yeah.
Based on how England have played, Brownie, I can't see many people wanting to hire him unless you was like in the bottom three and you needed someone to stabilise your defence.
Well, you know what he's going to do, though. He's not going to do like he's got some of the best attackers in English football right now, and he's worried about defense. So now you're saying, oh, when he needs to strengthen the defense and solidify it, his team's going to be wide open. I don't have any. I don't think I have any trust that he's going to do what's required. Like he'll do the opposite, Because basically he's asking Harry Kane to come back and support the midfield. What? 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 Why are you doing that? None of that makes any sense. All right. That man should be at the top of the field, waiting for balls to come and putting balls in the net. That's his job.
Balls to his face.
See, I don't need that. This is not that kind of show, Tony. I'm telling you, I'm trying to keep
PG.
those things away from your face, and you keep asking for them. I don't know. This is not that kind of show, Tony. Maybe this is what you can do on that full show that you're on, but over here we don't do that kind of stuff.
Gary acting like he's not part of the full Nelson team.
He's above
fucker. Just absolutely. Oh, he was loving the Royal Rumble. I don't care what he says.
I do. I know. I love the wrestling
every time
thing.
he's going, he's like, who's next?
No,
Who's next?
the best part is when Gary does his play. Don't have Royal Rumble. It was pretty funny, Gary. You did a good job on that.
Gary does that on any watch along, Alonzo. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He can't help it. He's missed a
Gary secretly wanted to be a play-by-play guy.
I just wanted to enjoy this.
Anything that rests my voice at 2 a.m. I'm fine with.
Who shaped you to want to be a play-by-play guy, Gary?
But to be fair though, like that New Zealand watch along was pretty well done. It's like maybe they could have like there's like a warnings was kind of an experience. It was pretty funny, but quite the experience.
Yeah. And what's disappointing, Brownie, is that the second most successful manager, no trophies, right? So it doesn't matter. For me, I don't like when if you're an international coach and you don't have any trophies. Second might as well be last, right? You're gonna cross the line at least once, And I think they haven't crossed because of him. The players haven't been able to overcome his coaching, despite him, and still get something done. Because I think I don't think they want to, do wrong by him.
I would argue with not putting him up there with Sir Alf because it's a very distant second.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's might as well be last because what do you got to show for that? I mean, nothing. Second successful manager, meaning what? They did play for a trophy once. They had a chance to play for a trophy once. Nah.
I agree with you, Gary. In a very rare turn of events, I agree with Gary.
Yeah. No, you know what? It's not even that. It's more the case that you are wasting a lot of young English players right now. And the way that you've managed the players, you've killed a lot of international careers. All right. Why isn't Eddie Nketiah not, playing for Nigeria? You wasted that man's international career for one game. That's terrible. Sorry. It's terrible.
I wouldn't go as far as to like claim there was an actual like abuse or a crime.
No, it's terrible that he's in that situation where he's played one game and anybody think he'll be playing for England if things don't change, and they might not. And even if they did change and a better manager comes in, do you think he's going to get a chance to play for an England squad?
Isn't there a rule like didn't Declan Rice play for Ireland or something?
Yeah, but not the first team. I don't think he played for the first team. I think
sure
in a big tournament.
I'm sure that's why they make a big thing of it, Ireland. I could be wrong. I could be 100% wrong.
I thought he did not play for the.
Sorry, I don't expect you to know specifically, but do you happen to know what game Eddie played for England?
I was looking it up because initially I was like, oh, he still can go play for Nigeria or Ghana, I think it was, and I was like, nope.
Ghana.
And I think Spencer's like, nope, he played a game, and I was like, oh,
yeah, for Ghana.
Yeah, so you know what?
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah, so yeah, nah. Yeah. So let's see what it says here about his international career.
I would like to get away from anything that means that Stefan can brag about Ipswich because he turns everything into Ipswich. And to be honest, it kind of makes me throw up a little bit in my mouth. So
makes you angry.
Oh. That's an interesting story.
Yeah, you're right. He played. No, you know what? He didn't play in a tournament. He played in the qualifier.
For Wales.
Oh, wait, no, he played against. He made a senior debut. No. He made a senior debut on March 2018 in a 1-0 defeat to Turkey. And then later that year, he decided he wanted to play for England. So I guess he did play once. There must be some new rule now because I know it doesn't sound like Nketiah can do that.
I think we had to be a certain age to switch allegiances, I think. I think that's what I think.
You have to be under 21.
Maybe that's the age thing. Maybe it's the age. Maybe it's the age thing because
So if he played a friendly for Ireland's senior team, and Eddie Nketiah only played a friendly for England, then there's actually technically nothing stopping him, I would have thought.
I think it's age. I think it's the age when he played. I think Nketiah was, 22? He's like 22 or 23, and I think Rice was an 18. I think that's the difference. Yeah.
I think your favorite wrestler might show up Friday, Tom.
2017. Yeah, he was.
Apparently,
you know what? He was 18 when he played for Ireland, Republic of Ireland. Sorry, 19. So maybe it's 20 or 21 or something like that. So it's probably age because Eddie was over 20 when he played for England. So it must be like you hit 21 and you can't go.
He's still eligible to play for Ghana because he got 0 actual minutes for England.
Oh, so then why isn't he gone to Ghana?
Maybe they don't want him.
Well, because he shunned them, right? Because it sounded like he had a chance to go there. Well, that, like I said, it kind of sucks for his international career, if that's the case.
I mean, that's why he's got to move on. You know.
I think Arsenal have bullied Eddie Nketiah, if I'm being honest. I think the fan base have bullied him.
Yeah.
I think he deserved far better from the Arsenal community, personally.
You know how our fans work, Tom. You've been around us long enough to know how this fan base works. If they don't like a player, they are the loudest about it. No other fan base does it as louder than our fan base does.
Yeah.
We know how to devalue athletes.
How was he done dirty?
Classless people.
How was he done dirty, Tom, when he got plenty of chances to be the
He didn't
lone
get plenty of
striker?
chances. He didn't get plenty
He
of
did.
chances. No, he didn't.
You know what? You give he has to earn them, right? He has to earn the chances, right? Did Arsenal have better players ahead of him?
I wouldn't necessarily think so.
Who's not better than him? Who plays striker
I would
for
argue
Arsenal?
he's better than. I think he's either done just as good a job as Gabriel Jesus.
And the problem is he wouldn't, because he doesn't do anything else but just run around in the box. And Arteta actually wants
Gabriel Jesus do other than run around on the wing.
He can collect the ball. He can hold the ball up, and
But you need
Nketiah
strikers
cannot.
to score, though.
I'm just telling you what Arteta is looking for. You're going to try to compare Gabriel Jesus to Nketiah and say one of them's not a better footballer than the other. Is that what we're going to try to do?
We legitimately had this conversation that Eddie Nketiah doesn't fit what Arsenal does, but it doesn't mean Eddie Nketiah is a poor striker.
No, but he's not going to play for us, so what's the point of having him around?
But the argument is who's a better striker.
So we need strikers now. Why isn't he playing?
Because we have players that do what Arteta wants them to do.
All right, so he doesn't fit our mold, right?
Correct, but I mean,
we're looking at a Sesko. Sesko isn't. He's not a Sesko. He's not even close to a Sesko.
Sesko fit our mold.
Correct. He's not so close to that. Isaac, not close to that. Osman, not close to that. All right. Doesn't give me any kind of vibes like that at all, Nketiah.
So you think what's Eddie's level?
It's mid-table, and he may be even coming off the bench there. Because he's not, for me, and I say this every damn time. You hear me screaming, the man doesn't run.
He was where he needed to be when he was with Tom's team.
The only time I saw the man run was in that Chelsea game when he was looking for a trophy. He's looking for a contract. And many people said after he gets that contract, you'll never see that kind of play from him again. And guess what? We don't see that kind of play from him. He was pressing a back line. They coughed the ball up, and he jumped on it. He's never in that position anymore. Because guess what? His pockets are full, man. Pockets are full. Can't run that fast anymore. That's what I see. Yeah, give me that Nketiah that's looking for a job, man. They gave him everything he wanted, and guess what he gave them in return? Not the same thing.
Yeah, but who's the idiot that gives him $100,000 a week? Come on.
I'm just saying he got what he wanted, but he didn't return the favor.
Because he's not capable of returning the favor, Gary.
There you go.
Because he's a championship player at best.
Your fickle, delusional fan base.
You can take Nketiah and you'll be screaming at him as well. I have no doubt about it. Oh, he plays more than Bamford, and you're going to go, yeah, so do I get goals from him? No, you'll be complaining the same way. You were complaining when he played for you. You actually, what did you say? I think you've said it multiple times. He got outplayed by Bamford or whoever it was you had at striker then. And now you're talking. Now you're trying to back him or something. I don't get it. The man couldn't even make it at your squad, and you're complaining about us.
I didn't pick the team.
I'm just telling you, the man couldn't make it your team that you back. That's the only team you care about. And he couldn't even give you enough to play on your team. And you're going to come talk to us about Arsenal? I don't think so, little man. Nah.
He scored
not over here. Not over here, little man. Don't even try it. Your team didn't want him, didn't play him, and guess what you said? I didn't hear any of this out of your mouth. Nope. Didn't hear any of this. Now all of a sudden it's another team. You got something to say.
I love it when Gary wants to put Tom in his place. He always calls him little man. Always.
Like I said, I want Nketiah to do well. I just don't think he gives us 100%. Like I think
He's wrong,
he
by
should.
the way.
Yeah. You actually joke about him not being able to do more for your team. You joke about it. I've heard you say it.
Listen,
Now all of a sudden
I'll
you're
tell
complaining
you
because
this.
he can't give Arsenal what they need.
Hey, you took him back. Hang on. What are these facts, Brownie? What are these facts, sir?
Brownie's on my side. What did I do? 1 minute he's like going after me. Now he's saying facts. No, like I said,
facts?
I think Nketiah's got a lot of talent in there, and you know what? Half of that is effort for me. If he took the lead, if he took the words of his captain, who screams at him all the damn time to help him press when he's in the game, I have no doubt he'll get more minutes. He'll be more successful. But guess what he doesn't do? Doesn't heed the words of his captain when they're pressing. The man's jogging up there. Go back, watch any game. Captain's out there pressing for 90 minutes. And Nketiah comes in for like the last 30 minutes, 10, 15 minutes, whatever. Can't be bothered. Can't be bothered to press. It disappoints me when he does that.
Have you finished?
Huh?
Have you finished?
I've shut you up, I guess. Yeah.
You haven't shut me up, sir.
I shut you up. You've been quiet.
You've not shut me up. You've not shut me up because I can. Let me tell you exactly what happened when he played for Leeds United. When he wasn't playing, the fan base was saying, "Oh, get Bamford off. Oh, we'd be doing a lot better if we had Eddie." And then when we had Eddie on, they'd all be like, "Oh, let's bring on Bamford because Bamford's stronger than Eddie." Basically, neither were good enough when they were both playing, or each playing. Because you know why, Gary? Because football fans are douchebags and they're fickle. And they don't know what they want, even when they have it.
That's facts.
Yeah.
That's 100% true right there. Our fan base is full of them. Full of them.
Yeah. No, like I said, he's not as good as we need him to be.
And we know that. But my argument is that Eddie will be fine somewhere else.
No, he should, like, if Arsenal was looking out for him, if Arsenal was looking out for him, they would have sold him a couple years ago. Right?
Yeah, I mean, but do you remember how good he was in that countdown at the end of the season?
Yeah, because he wanted a contract. And like I said, how did he repay Arsenal for that?
Crap.
We'll see what happens when they sell him this season.
It doesn't matter when they sell him. It's too late. They just wasted. They've wasted They've wasted 2 years of a spot on that squad.
Actually, he wasted it because he wanted to take the pay cut to go to
Tony.
Dallas.
Who the hell would take a $5.2 million pay cut?
Yeah, and you know what? He's not taking a pay cut, but I think Arsenal needs to let him go. And that, like they're all about trying to get their value for a player that they devalued,
Tony,
right? And a player that doesn't
run
want to
around
give it.
on that field right now for $5.2 million. I would run around on that field for $5.2.
Arsenal's the one that made the mistake, yeah.
They valued him because they paid him $100,000 a week.
$5.2 million.
Yeah, terrible business.
So it's like, because they're afraid, and they're both afraid really to let go. He was afraid to let go of Arsenal because he'd been their academy kid, whatever. And then they're afraid to let go of him because they needed a striker, and they got nothing. They both got nothing in return.
Let's not forget where the club was in 2022, right? Aubameyang was shown the door, right? Remember?
Yeah.
Aubameyang was shown the door.
And you know what happened the season before that? Remember what happened in the preseason before that? If you were listening to me, they were looking at Edouard. They were looking at a couple of other young attackers to come in, and I was like, they should probably do that because like Gazette and Aubameyang just weren't. I didn't think we're going to be. They needed more. All right, yeah, those players
And
didn't work
because
out, but it'd been a lot less expensive test. All right.
like Lizette was on his way out too because he was leaving on a free.
Yeah.
So they're desperate.
Yeah, that's exactly right. They were desperate, and Eddie was the one that was going to cost nothing. He didn't cost anything.
Yeah, it's because Arsenal was fucking lazy. They didn't
Arsenal weren't attractive in 2022, Tony. We weren't an attractive club.
You know what? They don't take. You know what?
They
They don't take advantage when they have a chance. Like
Do you know
everything
what
else,
matters?
they always like
Do you know
hold
what
back and
matters,
go.
Spencer?
We're not going to take that risk, all right? They never take that risk.
What matters is what ends up in your checking account there. That's what matters to the players.
Yeah, they save money in Katie and what they get for it.
But there's no loyalty in this game, guys. There's no loyalty. Players don't play for the same club forever. So if the clubs aren't going to be loyal to the players, why should the players be loyal to the club?
That's why I said.
How many players go from the academy to the first team?
Not that many, but it happens.
Arsenal's got like 4. Only one plays. Huh?
Yeah.
Only one plays, and only one is at that level. Because he's available and he's actually pretty good. All right. Milsif Rowe, not available, shows us glimpses. Reece Nelson doesn't get chances, so why is he here? Nketiah, why is he here? All right. And you know what? You sell him like, you do like a Cole Palmer, you sell him early, you probably get the money for him. All right. You hold on to him, and guess what? You lose any value you built up on the player. All right. Potential is people buy in potential. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Right. We talk about all the time, all these players that sold for like 20, 30 mil, not having played a game. Arsenal is like, they always take the risk. And every time they take the risk, guess what? They get burned. They took a risk on Sambi. Nope. Took a risk on Marquinhos. Nope. Took a risk on Nunes. Nope. Took a risk on Nketiah because it's cheaper. Nope. Hold on to Reece Nelson. Nope. Held on to Maitland-Niles. Nope. All these players that they take the less risky move, and guess what? Get burned every time because at some point they don't got it. Or we're not going to use it. We're not going to use those talents anyways, right? So then what's the point of holding on to them?
But this is part of the process. You have to use people in order to get where you need to be in life. This is how this works. We use the asset that costs the less. If you're going to pay a guy $100,000 a week to be your striker, you pay him $100,000 a week as opposed to paying another $40 to $50 million on top of him to try to get the guy to come in. They weren't attractive. We didn't have Champions League football. I know people sit there and say that Champions League football doesn't matter and like you should be able to get players just because of a badge. But it's either one or two things.
It doesn't matter.
Hold on. You're either going to overpay for them or you're going to have something that's attractive. Why do all these guys jump around these different clubs? Because they're in Champions League clubs. If you can offer the top, when we're at that point right now where your name is now selling people to want to come play for you, it's 100% a process.
Look at all the players that went to Chelsea when they weren't in championship position.
Yeah, they were handing out money, and they had Champions League. Now they don't have it.
And they're still getting the players without Champions League football.
Well, they're getting the players. Why?
Yeah.
Is it because of what they will get them in terms of trophies collecting? No. They give them stability, right? They get stability, and they're getting money.
They're getting stability and paycheck, not
that's
stability.
What I meant. Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I mean. So they get constant paycheck, right? For longer than most, right? So yeah, and that players like that, right? Look, I'll pay you for 3 years. I'll pay you for 5. I'll go with the 5, right?
Well, you got to think too. So the season we gave Eddie the deal, and that summer we got Jesus in. So they went and got another striker.
Could have saved that money and went elsewhere.
I think the Eddie deal has been fine for what it was worth and for what the actual true investment is on it. You didn't get a lot.
What did you get for it? What did you get for it? Tell me what you got for it. What did you get for it?
We didn't have to drop another $40-50 million. Hold on. We didn't have to drop $20 million on an average striker. We already had one.
You didn't get anything for it. It was a waste of your money. Doesn't matter how much you spent.
It's the cost of doing business.
No, why waste your money? Oh, just because I can. Well, I'm going to waste my money. Why don't I put that money elsewhere in something else that I can actually get more out of it?
Where are we going to find that striker without spending an extra $40-50 million?
We didn't have a striker. He wasn't a striker. He's not a striker.
He's a striker.
Arsenal. Not for Arsenal. He's not.
Right. No, he's not. Right.
So he's a waste of money because we're not going to play him as a striker because he doesn't offer us the skill set that we want.
Correct, but he was what you needed at the time.
No, we didn't need somebody who can't play and play in that position. We needed somebody who could play in that position. Else, why bother? I think it's a waste of money. Because now we're like, we want to get rid of him, right? They want to get rid of him now, and they can't because they've
$5.2 million to Arsenal is nothing.
I think they could have used it better elsewhere.
Gary, Lacazette walked out the door. Aubameyang walked out the door. You cut ties with those guys. What were you going to do?
That's where a lot of the loss of money went. You
bought Jesus. What were you going to do? Buy another striker?
Like I said, I don't think it was worth the money spent.
They made the best decision based on.
We just went through a whole. I went through how many trophies did City win without a striker? You don't need one. And if you have Nketiah, you almost don't have a striker. So what's the point? You
kind of need a nation state money to do what Man
No,
City.
but I'm just saying, if you're better and if you're more consistent in other areas of the pitch, then that's where the money goes. Right?
My argument is that Arsenal made the decision based on the information they had in time. At that time, you're talking about outcome analysis here.
He was not worth getting $100K a week. Not even close. If you say that, then you're crazy.
I'm not worried about the salary.
No, but we talk. You were just talking about $5 million a year. What do you think that is? That's his salary.
Nothing. That's nothing.
It's a waste because guess what? Now they want to get it back. Guess what? They want to get that money back now. That's why his value is so high. They want to get the money they invested in a player that wasn't worth as much.
But you're also talking about a homegrown player that really doesn't cost anything but salary.
And they got nothing for him. They're going to sell him for way less than they spent on him.
We'll find out. We'll see how that works in the summer.
They are, because think about it. They're not going to get the $30K mil that they want. They gave him a contract for what, 25, right? 25 at the end of the day, right? And now they want to sell him for 25, 30. They're not getting that money.
25 from?
When you add up his 5 year, $5 million.
That's $5 million over every year.
Yes, so they want to get that money back. That's why they want to sell him at 20 to 30.
But what I'm trying to say is that $5 million is a drop in the bucket.
They're not getting it back.
That's
what I'm saying.
But they didn't have to. But you're also missing the point here. They didn't have to drop an extra $45 million on top of it.
I'd rather spend the 45 and take a chance that maybe you get it right. Because guess what? You spent 25 and it was wrong from day one.
They made the decision based on the information they had at the time, Gary.
That information, never said he was going to be to get that information. Never said Nketiah was going to pan out.
But they never really thought they went and bought Gabriel.
They weren't doing their job, so then they failed on that, right? Exercise, right? That's what you're going to say, right?
You're having the benefit of the outcome analysis and knowing what 2 years down the road.
What did you see from Nketiah when they signed him? That you went, yes, that's worthy of getting that a bump in salary, and that's security. Tell me what you saw.
Well, he was
Nketiah,
for one.
Tell me what you saw in Nketiah that you went, yes, this 5-year contract. I can see the benefit of that because we're going to get our money's worth.
We saw a lot at the end of that season of 22 that showed you that
he needed a contract. But what did you see from him?
But again,
Gary,
listen, you're talking about what was in front of them at the time. Listen to what I'm saying on here. This guy was the leading scorer for the under-21s for the England.
That means nothing. We've already identified that.
But it's information. That's information.
That means nothing. Was Haaland the number one goal scorer? You know, was Kane a number one scorer? I don't know. Right? When he was 21? I don't know.
I'm defending the club on this one, Gary, because they made the decision based on the information at the time.
I think the information, they didn't have any good information. That's the problem. You're saying they had good information. They didn't have any good information that said Nketiah was going to pan out. No, none of
What
it.
were they going to do? Lacazette walked away on a free.
They could have sold him for more than they're going to make off of him now, for sure. And they're going to,
You're going to cut Aubameyang, right? They cut Aubameyang. That they can talk about the club and where that led to, but what else were they going to do?
Lacazette was willing to sign a contract. He went and scored 32 goals in France.
What did Lacazette do for us? What did Lacazette do for us at the end of the year in the 22 season?
He was doing what he was asked to do, which was being back in the middle. It's what you see Jesus do. I don't know why Arteta wants a striker being back in the middle of the midfield, but that's what he fucking wants.
Because that's how that formation works. When you got the false nine. You basically he acts as an extra midfielder, and you want things to go through.
You don't put your striker back behind your wingers.
That's exactly how Man City won all those titles, running a false nine. Chelsea won titles running a false nine.
Yeah, but they have a lot better midfielders than we've had.
And look where our midfield quality is now. So my whole point here is that they've made decisions based on the information that they had in 2022. We're sitting here going into 2024-25 having known the outcome and knowing what
I didn't want him when he got signed. And you know what? A large percentage of people didn't want him because this is exactly what we're seeing now is what we expected to get. So
Gary,
there's no revisionist history. We're getting now what we expected to get back when we signed him. Exactly that. Yes, he looked good in those 2 games. You take advantage of that and you sell him for a profit. That's what you do. That's what you do.
And that's why they went and got Jesus.
Cutthroat business. You sell him at when he's
But again, we're the same people that get on YouTube and we're all like, we can sell 9 players in the offseason, which that never happened.
You should sell players when their value is high, Spencer.
Another question for you.
Someone let Tony say something. If
I don't know who that guy is. Who is Tony, anyways? Do people want to hear Tony?
No, but I want him to stop saying your name.
I like screaming at Spencer though.
Gary, how many of us on Arsenal fan circle wanted Eddie Nketiah? Did any of us say we wanted to re-sign him? I think everybody said it was a bad deal at the time.
Well, he had to work for it, Tony, and obviously he hasn't worked for it because he'd be starting by now. There's one way it'll work is if he works his butt off to prove to Arteta that he wants it. And like American sports, it happens all the time. Players resign or get free agent deals, and they get paid all this money. Most of the time, they just hang out on the bench, having a good old time, doing dances and stuff like that. Not proving their worth because they're not getting playing time because they're okay with making that money. And that's the same with Nketiah. If Nketiah wanted to earn that money, he would have done so by trying harder on the pitch. He doesn't have to score goals, just getting assists and getting good effort and getting some goals here and there every once in a while for his pay rate, right? What else he can do is just going off the bench every few games, maybe show up in Europe once in a while and just coach games too, and have himself a good old time. But he hasn't even done that. So that's the hard part about it. Is like he can score goals. It's obviously he can score goals against weaker sides, but he hasn't in quite a long time now. So,
and that's fair. So like you said, like he earned that initial contract, but he hasn't lived up to it. So it's time for him to go. It is what it is. But look where the club's at. They made these decisions, Gary. They made these gambles, and they finished second last year, and they finished second this year.
And they didn't. Why didn't they get over the line?
I don't know. 150
because those deals that we're talking about were players that couldn't support them and help them when in a time of need. It's always about the depth, right? And yeah, maybe you're not good enough to be a starter, but you're good enough to come off the bench. They're not even good enough to come off the bench. Right? And Keda's not good enough to come off the bench. Smith Rowe, not good enough to come off the bench.
Smith Rowe is
Reese
fine.
Nelson, not good enough to come off the bench for Arteta.
I will absolutely argue ESR is fine. ESR's problem is he can never stay healthy.
He's not good enough to come off the bench when he's healthy. If you look at the stats, you know how you can go look at the stats right now, and you can tell me how many times did it say did not play? Not he was injured. I'm telling you, go look at it right now, because I looked at it. He sat on that bench, did not play, and it had nothing to do with injury.
He lost his place based on injury.
I'm just telling you. I
know.
Play because he wasn't in Arteta. He wasn't showing what Arteta needed, right?
You're saying he's not good enough. I'm saying it's because he's injured.
He wasn't injured.
But
he didn't sit out for injuries.
He lost.
He was on the bench. He was on the bench. He could have played.
So what happens in the NFL? You got a quarterback who was the starting quarterback.
I'm not talking about I'm talking about when we go to the bench. We don't even pick him when we go to the bench.
Yes,
I'm talking about you look at the bench and you go, who do I have to answer the call for me? Guess what? I just named you 4 players. He doesn't want them to come off the bench.
Because
they do all he can not to get them.
Gary, we know the answer to this. We know we're playing this game. I know we are. He got surpassed based on his injuries.
Who did he get surpassed by? Who surpassed Smith Rowe? Not Vieira, because he was injured. He was injured more than Smith Rowe, right?
I mean, Odegaard surpassed him because he was playing in the midfield.
Because he's healthy, yeah.
That's my point.
And I don't think he was better for it.
Smith Rowe was absolutely better for this team.
He wasn't injured when he got surpassed. Aubameyang got shit canned. Then he started. Then we had one of the happy accidents. Smith Rowe was coming off the bench, getting the goals, and after that, not injured that summer, not injured starting the season. Arteta doesn't look his way. Guess why? Because Arteta likes certain colors of crayons.
Oh, God.
All right. He's 20.
Smith Rowe isn't one of them. He doesn't like the lad. So
when did the growing
if he's hurt or not?
He does like the lad because he had a man-of-the-match performance this year, Tony. He does like him.
He came off that bench during COVID and saved his job against Chelsea back in I think it was the day after Boxing Day during COVID, if I'm not mistaken. Smith Rowe was good enough for this team. He had the growing injury twice. He had the re-injury. And then people just surpassed him.
He also had a man-of-the-match performance, too, people don't talk about. So, he's good enough. He just been hurt, like you said, Spencer.
Yeah.
I think he'd be just fine at Arsenal. Just give him a little bit of time.
I'll argue that the players that we've taken the risk on are the ones with the transfers. The Sambi Lakongas, the Nuno Tavares. You could even argue that Vieira hasn't worked out based on his availability. That's where the big risk is. If you sign an academy kid to $80,000 a week because you've seen potential, like that's a low risk for the club. That's a $3 to $5 million risk. That's not something that helps maintain your England numbers, right? Your homegrown player numbers. And on top of that, that's somebody that you don't have to go out and pay for a transfer fee on. Look what Brighton and all those teams have done. They bring kids up to their academies. We can argue about they don't get the opportunity, sure, but I mean, you can really whip on a $15, $30 million transfer like you did with Sambi, right? I mean, we'll see what happens. We don't know what's going to happen as far as the needs with Eddie, but Eddie's off this summer. I'm pretty sure Smith Rowe's probably going to end up being moved on this summer as well. I hate to say that, but it'll probably end up happening. And Sambi Lakonga will get moved on as well. Another one that'll probably get moved on, and I don't want to see it happen, is Charlie Patino. But, what are you going to do? All right. So it seems like Tony's gone and everybody seems to fall asleep.
Yeah.
Gary's professed his love for Eddie and Kedia and agreed that I was right.
You know what?
So
Stop lying. Stop lying.
Eddie,
Ah.
and he agreed that I'm right on Eddie.
Stop putting words in my mouth. All right.
no, but Tom is right about this. Every football fan does not know what they want. They really don't.
What are you guys talking about? You make it sound like, wait, you do?
No, I don't either.
No, I don't. I want my team to win. But
Yes.
the way of getting there consistently evolves and changes depending on what currently isn't working.
I just want Arsenal to put it back for.
No, the club. I think Arsenal made good decisions. I think they made some bad decisions too, but I think the Eddie and Kedia one is not going to rake up in the bad decisions. I think the one that's going to hurt them, Maitland-Niles. He could have got $20 million from Wolves on that one, and he
Well, you know what? If you can say Maitland-Niles, then you can say Eddie and Kedia. It's the same situation.
I guarantee you.
For more money than his contract.
Hold on, one at a time here. One at a time.
No, don't even go there. I bring up Maitland-Niles. Now you bring him up. It's the same thing I said, Spencer. Same thing.
We could have went with a young player like Eduardo or another striker, and guess what? We could have won 2 titles. Instead, you had Eddie sitting on the bench.
Eduardo, really?
Getting $100,000 for fucking nothing. He contributed.
Eduardo is not even playing for Palace, Tony. Jesus. Eduardo is not even playing for Palace right now.
I said like him. I didn't have to be him.
No, my argument is like you're going to get money for Eddie. You may not get 30. You're probably going to get close to 20. But that's still $20 million for a homegrown player.
You think you're going to get 20 for him?
Yeah.
No, nobody's paying 20 for him because he's getting $100,000 a week. They're not signing. We're going to have to pay part of his salary, which we do with half the players that we let go.
So, so if they get rid of some of the salary, let's see here.
I've always said, and I've always said this, Spencer. I don't understand why Arsenal doesn't just pay half a player's salary and let him go.
Because you just hold on. Earlier this week,
because guess what? Guess what? They're not going to get what they want anyway. So at least, you know what? Let him go.
You just made my argument from Saturday.
They're holding on to him for what reason? They're not going to play him. They're just wasting the money anyways.
You just made my argument from Saturday, Gary, talking about the academy kids going.
Academy players don't have salaries that they're paying them. All right? That's why they're academy players. They don't get paid the same way. Academy players don't have a salary, do they? They don't.
Of course they do.
When they have a professional contract, don't they? That's when they get paid, all right?
They still get paid as an academy kid, not much, but something.
It's not like it's even smaller than the $5 million.
I bet it's more than
get is.
I bet it's more than 16-year-olds of their age. I don't know what.
I don't know. Saka was getting 3,000. So.
Because I thought he got 10 times as much when he did sign that first contract, right? And that was 40.
165 pounds a week.
Yeah.
Which is more. That's probably more than most 16-year-olds are making.
Who's making 100,000 at 16?
Well, they're not making 106.
What did you say? Sorry, maybe I missed that.
165 pounds a week. That's in the first year of scholarship, so I don't know. At 15 years old, that's a lot of money to go play football and go to school.
Yeah, doesn't sound like much when you compare it to, like, we're talking about, and Katie get 100K.
No, I mean, those are two different things.
I think it's relative, and it's not. I don't think it's definitely a drop in the bucket for the academy kids. But when one of your academy kids is working close to 100, then yeah.
I mean,
they bet it better work out, right?
Yeah.
Like for me, I look at it like they looked at Saka. They said, "Oh, look, we got lightning in a bottle with a Saka. will take a risk on all the other academy players, and the odds of them being anywhere close to those levels is just so far not going to happen.
Do remember this though, that I think after COVID there was rumors about the financial sustainability of the club and where they were with the finances. So I know people don't like to hear you talk about finances because it makes people go to sleep. Profitable and sustainability.
Yeah, but Arsenal would make a profit because guess who their loans were to? The loans against the stadium were to Stan Kroenke for very, very low interest loans that he had. So that's where the profit was coming and going from.
Yeah, no,
I just, like Alonso said earlier, it just hasn't worked out. But it was the right move at the time.
like I said, I think it wasn't. So
and that's okay.
I think they should have sold him and taken that money and used it somewhere else if they couldn't find a striker they wanted.
And if I'm not mistaken, wasn't he out of contract that year anyway? So he could have gone on a free anyway?
Yeah.
So
guess what, Spencer?
Am I right?
This is what I would have said.
So then you would have been like, oh, we just let him go for nothing. That would have been the next argument.
And guess what? When at the end of this contract, when they sell him for like 11 mil or something ridiculous like that, we sold starting goalkeepers for like 12.
Yeah.
And 2 and 13 mil. You're telling me we're gonna pull a striker who barely comes off the bench for 25? Sorry.
Well, what did Leno
I don't believe in that.
Well, why would you start? Would you start your negotiations at that?
That's where Arsenal's starting it at.
Yeah, absolutely, I would be.
They're not going to get it anywhere near that number.
Maybe not, but why would we undercut ourselves at this point?
Well, you know what? If you want to sell it, because guess what? At some point they go, you know what? We're done talking here because this is ridiculous. Why in the world would I even continue with this conversation? You're starting too high. Like even if you get it the value for that he's worth, you're talking about going like 50%, 60% off what you just offered. Guess what? I don't. You're wasting my time as a club trying to come in and buy one of your players, right? Because you see it all. We see it all the time. A player's like Rice is worth how much? Is 100 mil? Is 100 mil? 120, whatever the number was, right? Arsenal comes in at what? 75.
So
next
hold on.
bid comes in 85.
Why?
What do they end up paying? It's 100 plus, right?
So why aren't we allowed to have the same standard? Say 25 million. You want him or you don't want him? Why can't we have that standard?
You can't. Nobody's buying because our players don't have. They don't have that. They don't have the potential. They don't even have the talent. That's maybe inconsistent.
And
right?
traditionally, top 6 clubs are not selling clubs anyway. That's traditional anyway.
We weren't top 6, right? At that point, we're still trying. We're trying to get ourselves back in there consistently, right?
But again, like
this
players that aren't. We talk about levels all the time.
Yeah, and Arteta's not at a level that he can take an Nketiah and have him on a team that's top 4.
No, you can't do it anymore. No, I agree with you.
So
but
that's the problem with the whole situation. You're asking a manager to overachieve with his players, and he's still trying to figure this thing out.
And you could argue he has overachieved. You could argue that. Some people may disagree with that. But they've made decisions based on the information they had at each time. And I've said this before, and I'll say this again. It's easy to make a criticism once we know all the facts, right? Those are the best time to make the criticism, Monday morning quarterback. But deep down inside, I mean, whether it was 100K a week or 50K a week, Eddie showed off enough for them to give him another opportunity. We're not going to agree on that, and that's okay. I just see it a little differently, and that's fine. But at the end of the day, the contract hasn't worked out. And at this stage, we got to figure out what. At this point, we should be trying to get 25 million for him. I know it doesn't. We don't agree that he's worth 25. We need to find a way to get 25 for him. That's my point. Who cares? Chelsea got 65 out of us for Havertz. Havertz ended up working out. But could you argue that Eddie and Havertz have been kind of the same when they were? Well, he's gone. Never mind. I mean, you could argue that the output's been kind of the same in his last year at Chelsea, right?
Yeah.
Because what will happen is, say he kicks on somewhere else. Let's say that West Ham gets him. I don't know. I'm just throwing a what if in there. And say he kicks on and gets 20 goals. We'll have people in our fan base say, we should have got more money for Eddie. But I don't know if Gary's going to come back, Tom. But if you want to go ahead and I know you got some raw stuff.
Imagine Gary's battery died.
But no, oh, he's back.
You know what? I didn't realize that my computer put up a message saying it's going to reboot. So it started rebooting, and I was like, "What?"
You're like, "Stop that! I'm arguing with Spencer."
So yeah.
No, my big thing, Gary, is I think we failed more on some of the transfers we brought in, like Sambi, and I think that's been the bigger.
Yeah, because it was
it's twofold. You have to be good on all fronts. So it isn't just the transfer, the high risk. Even though when I say high risk, I mean players that we're like taking a risk on, whether they cost us a lot or a little. We took a risk on them, and most of the time they failed. Or our academy players that should we have sold them or should we keep them? We should have sold them. 9 times out of 10, we should have sold them. How many academy players are we looking at? There you went. Guess what? We should have kept them. Only Saka right now. Only one player right now. Can you say legitimately? You know what? We were good for not selling him. Everybody else probably should have sold him. Because now you're talking about why? Because academy players, when you sell them, it's pure profit, right?
Yeah.
Right, and then we're losing that profit because we're selling them for less than they were at the high.
But if the original investment is zero, any profit's any profit. Go ahead, Alonzo. Sorry.
People forget how we also simultaneous as well, and he's been loaned out I don't know how many times already now, and now we end up selling him back to Brazil basically because he couldn't catch on really, and he had so much hype around him. I guess whenever we signed him, that he was the next big Brazilian youngster to come up, and it tried to put him in a position where he was going to be like the next big thing, like Martinelli was coming out of Brazil, right? So kind of had that as well as every time there was a snippet of him playing, he'd be loaned out to Norwich, or as Stefan says, Norwich, or whoever else he went to this past year, and you never hear from him again. Just like the Conga, just like Tavares. There's issues there that they're not put in to succeed, or there's just too much potential that Arteta doesn't know how to fix that. And so the way he prioritizes his youth is so messed up, in my opinion, because when I was watching Arsenal when it first came along, you always saw youngsters here and there playing in FA Cups or League Cups, and now you don't even have that no more because, Tony was always saying how he would always use his starting 11 or some people from the bench playing these cup games when. Wenger will always play his young talents just to give them a test, and then after a couple matches, he bring them along to the first team.
That's how they get the experience. You have to play them to get the experience, and that's what Wenger did. He didn't take the League Cup serious. He's like, I'm going to play these players, get their minutes, and it worked. And Arteta just doesn't do that.
Well, to be fair to them, they made some League Cup finals. Just they got beat by a better team, or at least against Birmingham, they had a lot of injuries, so they can't play their starting 11 in that game in 2011. They played Birmingham. That's whenever Fabregas was hurt before against Barcelona, and then Van Persie didn't play that game either. So you missed a lot of players in that League Cup final in 2011. With that said, where would these youngsters get experience then? So you gotta gamble sometimes. and that's what Arteta doesn't do enough of.
I know because
like you said there, Alonzo, like you talk about the gambling. I mean, Eddie is a low risk gamble. It didn't work out, but I mean, even Marquinhos, like you said, I think I was looking at his transfer history. $7 million is what we paid for him. I think the market value right now is $7 million. You'd be lucky to get that back, but it's such a low. I don't know. To me, like the Marquinhos is a risk worth taking. Like those are those risks because you never know what you're going to get with a Brazilian. You just, look at what City got with Alvarez, right? Like I can't remember what the fee was for that, but they got twofold what they paid for him. But I mean, you take these risks. I mean, Martinelli, I think was he like $4 million or something like that? You can argue he's worked out twofold.
I believe our scouting back then was a lot better than it is now.
I would agree with that.
So for me, like when we bring up Martinelli, when we bring up some of these other players, the scouting was much better. So I kind of felt like it's like not it's apples and oranges because you're saying take a risk on a player who's costing less, but I think they did a lot more diligence in terms of whether
you have to
or not
remember
no matter if it was going to pan out or not. Like Marquinhos, no, Vieira had like half a season of being really good after the main player left, so it wasn't even a full year, I believe, when Vieira came out. So you took a risk there. Sambi, they said he was a captain when he came in. I don't know about that.
They're
right?
just Arsenal is trying to do what all these other teams do. Let's go to Portugal, catch the next hot thing, and it's not been working.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
And going back to the scouting thing, and COVID, Arsenal cut 52 people from a scouting team. So you're not out good scouting if you fired your lead scout and everybody else. Then you just go to Stats DNA, which is stupid.
Some guy called Mr. Tom, said he's tired. Do you need to go, Mr. Tom? I can close it out if you want me to. I can't hear you. Did you mute yourself?
Turns out I did mute myself. I'm going to bed. I blame each and every single one of you that have continued to comment and keep this show going.
Hey,
especially the people that are in England. What are you doing awake?
That's the lifeblood of our show, and you're saying don't do it. What's going on, Mr. Tom?
I'm going to bed.
All right, Mr. Tom.
I've had enough.
Thanks for holding up the fort for me, man. And
Mr. Tom will be Mr.
Tom will be in charge going forward. All right.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you, Tom.
Good night.
Good night.
And he's gone.
Yeah, like I said.
Look, Spencer's with the leader now.
No, it's still Gary's show. I'm just here.
Yeah. No, Tony, you're right about the scouts leaving and all of that, and so I don't think they have caught any lightning in a bottle like they have in the past. Like, what player came in? Did you go, oh, they're much better than I thought they were for the price we got them at? We spend a lot of money on our players now, and most of the time, when we spend, the more money we spend, outside of Pepe, we usually get our money's worth, for a time. Even Aubameyang and Lacazette came in at high prices, but we got good games out of them for a bit. We're not getting that.
It's usually that 25 to 35 million range where we've been missing.
Well, it's anything under 20 as well, man. What 20 mil player we actually done good at outside of Tomiyasu.
That's what I'm saying. We've wasted a lot of that money.
I said one player under 30 mil. That is part of our rotation.
It's hard at this point too, because at this point you've kind of outgrown the let's take a risk mantra based on where you've been performing and where you're at. I mean, you could still take your risk on a young player if like, hey, I got this talent that's 19 years old and I want to have control of him for the next 4 or 5 years. You put him on loan for 2 years and he costs you 5 to 10 mil. Like, that's a good risk. That's why I think getting rid of Patino is a mistake. just because of Partey's age and, his lack of availability. His history's there. I mean, Partey's a guy that I would want to keep around if you knew, like, hey, I need you for 25 games, and that's including Champions League as a rotational base with Jorginho. If you like, or whatever half the games, like, I expect you to play the Saturday League game, skip the Champions League this week, pick up, you know what I mean? You know where I'm going with this. But if the expectation is that Partey's going to be in your starting 11, you just can't do it, man. So, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. I mean, we're going to move on. I think we're going to move on from 7 players this offseason. And that's also including with Cedric, who's already moved out, right? And El Neni. I think 4 or 5 are probably going to go. And I imagine we will make a little bit of money this year. I think we're probably going to get the Sambi Lakanga money is going to be hard to get back. Is Nuno still on the books, or is he completely gone to Forest permanently?
Yeah, I don't know, but Stefan is taken off. So Spencer, thanks for joining us. Thanks for holding the fort on the UK side. It's going to be us on the East Coast here that are staying up outside of those in the Midwest on the show that are as far.
Yeah, none of us are in the Midwest, Gary.
Well, you know what I mean. I call it the Midwest. You can call it whatever you want. All right.
Texas and Oklahoma.
It's called the Midwest. You can call it whatever you want. You can call it whatever you. It's called the Midwest. It's called the Midwest.
It's called the Midwest.
What's it called? When anybody says the Midwest, they're talking about Texas and Oklahoma areas.
No, they are not.
Where are they talking about?
They're talking about Michigan, Ohio. That's the Midwest, Gary.
What are they talking about when they talk about Texas?
How do they say? Gary.
Yeah.
They say Southwest.
Southwest. All right. My bad.
And they always said Southwest, but based on what the U.S. is, it's South Central is actually our region.
Yeah.
My region is Southwest, Antonio.
Right. It's just South Central for Texas and Oklahoma.
There's no such thing as South Central. Now you're just making stuff up. No South Central.
I'm not making it up.
So Gary, anything east of Texas is the Southwest, Southeast rather, Southeast. So you have Arkansas and Louisiana are considered Southwest, Southeast. Yep. Texas West is like Texas, Oklahoma, Nevada, New Mexico, Arizona, in California to a certain extent is Southwest.
Correct. Yeah.
So Midwest is considered like Kansas, Iowa, Indiana, Missouri,
The area. Yep. You got me. Yeah. I don't know where I got Midwest from. I'm wrong. I'm very wrong there. Yep. Midwest is the Michigan area and all of that. So, even though it's north, mid.
I never understood how they came up with Midwest, because even at the time they first came up with that, like in the 1860s or whatever, you're still not mid because you're at the north.
Yep. So just a heads up on the scores. We got 90 seconds. Florida can get their first Stanley Cup. But the Oilers are knocking on the door. They are playing in that attacking part of the pitch of the ice. That puck wants to go in, but so far Florida's been able to keep it out. And Brazil might have I think it's been a while since they've been shut out. They've had a 0-0 draw, and right now they're 90 seconds as well from a 0-0 draw with Costa Rica, which this is the thing about Brazil. You got all these attackers. Somehow they can't figure out how to break down Costa Rica. I don't think Martinelli has played today. I don't think he didn't start. So.
Rodrigo.
So. Yeah. So I think. Let's see who. Anybody come in? Did he come in? Gabriel. He did come in at a couple minutes, 6 minutes ago. So It's going to get about 7 minutes of football.
Too late to matter.
Yeah, I don't understand these substitutions in the 80th minute. Enric came on for Vinicius Jr. Savio came on for Rafinha, taking out basically two of your top attackers. Huh, interesting. Are they? What is Brazil missing? Are they missing midfield? I thought they got Paqueta there, and they've got a solid team. I thought Bruno Gomes and João Gomez. 5 extra minutes coming up. I was watching the track and field. The 5K was being run. Florida Gator was leading until like the last 3 laps, and then she couldn't have any more. And finished 4th. You need to. I think if you finish 4th, you need to be top 3. I think to make the Olympics team.
Yeah, I'm not.
Uh-oh. It's dribbling. Oh, this should be a score. Oh, Bruno Gomes misses it. He's got a score there. You got to put that ball at least between. Make the goalkeeper have to make a save. Yeah, terrible. Not a good shot from him. Yeah. I don't know. You think U.S. gonna do all right? The only problem is U.S. has to play. Is it Uruguay they have that's in the same group?
I'm not sure.
I think it's Uruguay that's in the same group as them. That's gonna be that could be a problem.
Don't keep up with international football like they used to.
Yeah, that's what you keep saying. Yeah, Uruguay is in the same group. I think if U.S. wins the next match, who do they play in the next match? Let's see. USA. Next match is Panama. So if they beat Panama, then they should be in, because then they play Uruguay in that 3rd match. Yep. Got 3 minutes left here, still 0-0. And did I turned away from the hockey? Uh-oh.
4-1.
It's over. It is over. Florida Panthers have won. After going up 3-0, winning the next one. Man, you know what? It's a hard stretch to win 4 in a row.
Take that, Connor McDavid. Nathan McKinnon is still the best player in the NHL.
You know, that home ice advantage. At least they had that going for them.
Oh, they lost at home too.
No, but the last one, Game 7s are different, right? If I said you have 2 tries, if I said, here, you got 2 tries to win 1 game. Sorry, you got 4 tries to win 1 game. 2 of them at home. Yeah, and the last one's at home. You're going to say, all right, I'll take that.
Well, to be fair, this was a low-scoring contest. For a team like the Oilers to be at their best the past 3 games just to get 1 goal, kind of shows a lot, I guess.
Yeah, but I mean, all the games have been high scoring, though, right?
Well, lopsided rather, lopsided, and the defense for the Panthers had let in some really strange goals.
Yeah, when you go up 3-0 and you lose the next match, the next game 8-1, something's not right.
Yeah, 6-1.
Was it 6-1? I thought it was 8-1. I thought I saw it.
It was 8-1 because Spencer's team did a 7-0. So
yeah, I'm trying to remember. I like to partake of the beer back in those days, so I used to just enjoy it. But we won Game 2 7-0, and then I think we lost Game 3, won Game 4, lost Game 5 at home, ended up winning Game 6 on the road. So like once you've gone up 3 and you lose the first one, it's like, okay, we lost the first one, no big deal. Once you lose that second one, all of a sudden the doubts start creeping in, and especially considering this series, Florida to Edmonton, the difference between Alberta and Florida, obviously the travel distance, 2,500 miles. You lose game 6, or you lose game 5, and you have to go all the way back up to Edmonton, and you're like, and it's just that doubt, right? So, I mean, good for the Panthers, and they lost last year to the Knights, and I thought the Vegas Knights, I think it was a 4-1 outcome too, so they got pretty handily defeated. But like you said, good for them. I mean, it's winning a championship. Like, again, this proves the points. You need 16 wins to win a championship in the NBA or NHL, whatever. I think, to me, the NHL is the hardest one to win, just because there's such, even with in the NBA, when you're the number 1 overall seed in the NBA, like, you're typically really good, right? If you got LeBron or whoever, you're not going to lose 4 games. You guys know what I'm saying with this. In the hockey, just so many things happen. Like, you get to have your best player out there on a shift, and a puck is shot and it hits his skate and he breaks his foot, right? There's just so many different things that can happen. And it doesn't matter, home ice or not out there. Sometimes just the team that's hot wins. Get a good goalkeeper.
So many times, that's what I was going to say, Spencer. It's the hot goalkeeper. It's not the hot team. It's that goalkeeper that's good for those 16 games.
Yeah.
Or however many you end up playing.
True. But this one, I don't know, not too many good hot goalkeepers. I mean, except for this last game that you said. Everything else has been yuck.
8-1. How do you lose that bad? Are you just not carrying at that point?
It happens. You have bad nights, man. You just have bad nights, and it's when the Avs won in 2016, Darcy Kemper was the big liability. They had a worse goalkeeper. What they had was our goaltender. What they had was a an offense that could score. They were just averaging 4 or 5 goals a game, like it was nothing. And they were winning in spite of their goalkeeper. But even in the conference championship, Darcy Kemper went out with an eye injury, and Jose Francois came in and played 3 games for them and won. And so, great teams are great teams, and the Tampa Bay teams that won, those were good teams too. So, hockey's one of those weird sports where, I mean, when you're good and you find a way to win, you're really good,
It's weird how much it's these southern teams now that win. You get Vegas, you get.
Dude, so I'll tell you what, man, and I'm looking at Bargav's comment here about hockey players get so disrespected. I can tell you right now, watching the 22 Avs team and what they went through, and the MASH unit, they were guys on crutches. One player played with a broken foot, and they showed the X-ray. He had a basic fracture in his foot, but they pushed him so full of drugs or whatever that he was able to keep playing games. So hockey players are a different level. One of my best friends is a goaltender. He plays beer league hockey. Of course, it's beer league hockey, but he's a nut job. He's just a nut job.
But they do the same thing in football. They just shoot those guys up with pain pills and anti-inflammatories.
There's a great documentary, if you guys ever get a chance, on Netflix, called Ice Guardians. I don't know if it's on there anymore, but it talks about the guys that would fight. And some of these guys' hands were just blistered up, and it's a really interesting documentary about the actual rules within the game and how in hockey either the refs either police the game or the players will police it. If a star player gets hit and there's no penalty called and it was a dirty play, then the enforcer is going to go after the other enforcer. And it's weird rules within itself. And
that's why I like those old Sega games, because you'd actually get them the goalkeeper fights. Now you don't get those in the video games.
So And even now, even hockey wants to kind of shy away from the fighting. It's kind of frowned upon. But I mean, hockey's definitely, like I said, it's a sport I grew up watching. It's a little bit harder. I mean, I somehow got myself connected with a Western Conference team where I don't get to see all the games. You know, if I was legit to pick an East Coast team, it would have either been the Panthers or the Capitals, one of the two. So, but no, because then I could watch the games at 7:00 and be in bed by 10, right? But nope, when you like a Western Conference team, I'll catch the highlights on Facebook the next day. But I mean, that's how it goes, right? So, but no, I think it was a good discussion tonight. Like I said, I think the Eddie discussion was good. To me and Gary and everybody else. It was a good show. I had a good time. I think it's going to be an interesting summer. I'm looking forward to it. I know it's been slow so far, but I think the Euros are the big factor. And you can look at Copa America's going on too, right? Looks like everybody's at some sort of tournament.
And you still have agents. You can get deals done.
Yeah, but I don't think we're going to see much done yet, Tony. I mean, normally I think we would have seen more by now, right? And you got to think about it from this perspective too, though. If I've got an asset that's playing for, let's say, Slovenia right now, and I don't know, Real Madrid won them, and they're offering me 10, 15 million for him right now. Let's say he has a good Euros. Next thing you know, that 10, 15 million turns into 35.
Can we talk about before we go, Gary? I don't know if you've seen this or not. Instead of Arsenal doing a physical, they're doing a physical assessment to see if the guy will hold up. Where's that been like the last 10 years from fucking Arsenal? Let's have a physical assessment of this player and see if he can hold up.
How would you do that? I'm not questioning. I'm just like, how could you tell him?
It would have to be. You would have to be talking to like the physicals of the teams he's played for, the physio people. Just
yeah, I don't.
Sure, just see.
I don't know.
They got so many metrics. It's hard to know what they would use.
Yeah, I don't. You know what? I think sometimes you can tell without. You're gonna do your physical to see if there's if there's weakness in the joints and stuff like that. But then also you look at their minutes and see, because for example, you look at Partey's minutes. I don't remember if he played all 90 minutes when he played. I think they took him out, and I don't think he played 30 matches to begin with. So if you're saying the Premier League is one of the tougher leagues, and you're bringing a player who can barely do 90 in La Liga, you probably have your answer to how you should use them, right? And we overdid it, and I don't think you don't spend 50 at that point for a player. So you take the risk, but then if you manage it better, then you probably get more minutes out of him over the course of his career, or his career with you. And we didn't do that. They said, all right, we're going to take the risk, but then we're going to double down on it and ask you to do what you couldn't do before in a tougher league. And he just wore down, because I think, like you said, right now we could get 25 match games out of him a season. The 50 mil is worth it, because when you play him, you're going to get the best out of him, right?
And Jorginho can't play 3 games a week, so if you manage those two together, and let's say you get like we said before, Bruno or a Luis, whoever, right? Insert name, whatever, insert name. You got yourself a pretty healthy rotation at the 6th position, and then you can sit there and say, Declan Rice, go free and have fun in the 8th position.
True.
We'll be progressive up front with Odegaard, and that's, I think, ideally what they wanted. So, and I know we've talked about this. Relying on Partey was foolish, but
I'm not sure. I'm not sure that was their plan or not, because you had Kai back there as an 8. If that was your plan, then you'd be.
But I don't think that was.
If they were healthy, they wouldn't have played Kai back there.
That's been the argument all along. That Tony, that wasn't what's 100%. I will fight this till the cows come home. Timber was supposed to be a fullback. Partey was supposed to be the 6, Rice was supposed to be the 8, and Havertz was going to be a floating 8 or 9 or whatever they were going to do with him. That was the plan. But because people couldn't stay healthy and no one could fill in that 8 position, we had no choice. Whether we like it or not, that's the choice. That was the cards.
You know, I hear you on that. The only problem I have with it is the Villa match. Like, you really need to win a game because guess what? You win a game, you take the lead in the league, and you control your own fate with that one win.
We didn't even bring Partey in that game.
And we take the risk. We put him back in a position where we haven't been successful, and maybe it's not all about him. But when you play him in that position, you basically, as I say, you weaken 2 positions. You weaken the position he's in, and then you weaken the striker position at that point because he was playing well out there. That's like saying to me. That's no different than saying, guess what, Zach? I'm going to put you back as a left back because why?
But I think
the more injuries, and you know what? You don't do that. So then you don't do that.
But the more glaring problem is Partey he's on the bench of that game and never plays.
Yeah.
But then starts the following Wednesday.
But when it doesn't matter. So
that's where, like, why didn't Partey come on?
Yeah.
Partey could have given you 10 minutes.
And as I said, that game is like you winner could take all. It puts you in the best position for the league. Like, Arteta did not set his teams up to take advantage of opportunities that they had. You're playing at home against a Bayern Munich team. They have no fans. We can't even get the win there. We're going to go back to Germany and get a win? Nah.
I think what it really highlighted there more than the players, Arteta got outmatched by Tuchel and by Emery.
He got outcoached, not outmatched.
Yeah, he got outcoached.
Outcoached. Yeah, and you know what? And he didn't have.
He learned something from it. That's really what
he's always learning. I hate this whole thing. He's always got to learn. Why does he have to learn, dude? You pick your best players in the best position in a game that you got to win.
But this is the thing when you have a young manager like this.
All the metrics said you put him at an 8, you lessen your chances to get the win. You look at all the points that we dropped throughout the season. Most of the time, guess where he's playing? An 8. I don't think there's much analysis that you need to do. You look at it. Every time he played an 8, we're more likely to drop points. All right.
I just respectfully disagree on this one, but that's okay. It's okay.
No, for me, that's the way the game's planned out. Like, in that particular point in time, you just went through a season where, guess what? You had a chance. If you win 1 of 3 games that you drew, you go into that City match, and no matter what happens, you still have a lead, and we couldn't get 1 win. Yeah.
Oh, we talked about the Villa game, but you really got to go to the Fulham game. You really got to at home.
But you know what? No, I'm just talking about but the Fulham one. I'm talking about you.
The Fulham and West Ham game is where you lost.
But you lost it early in the season. But if you're going to go down that route, but what I'm saying is, at some point, that metric that's out the window. If you look at it as a whole, yes, you lost it against Fulham when you're up 2-2, you're up 1-2-1, and you drop after they go down a man, right? So you drop 2 points there. That's the big difference in the way the season pans out. But what I'm saying is, in that one game situation, you need to win it. Because guess what was happening? Guess what? Once again, you got a 3-game stretch where, guess what we did? We dropped points in 3 straight matches. Guess how many we won? None. Guess how many we lost? 2. Right? In a 3-game stretch, knocked us out of the Champions League, basically handed the trophy to City.
But
all in a 3-game span.
But what about that 3-game span in December? 1-0 loss to Villa.
It's always the last. Look at the last one. Look at the last one.
But you gotta look. We did very good in the second
You
half
can go look at that December as well if you want to. But I'm just saying, we had a 3-game stretch. Like, at some point, guess what? I can't go back, right? I can't go back, but I can right now. I have a chance to do something right now. Going into that week where you played Bayern Munich twice and you played Villa, you had a chance to do something you hadn't done before. You failed on all fronts. All of them. Didn't get a win. You need to get 1 win in any of those 3 matches. Who knows what happens?
The one at home is the one you messed up the most against Bayern Munich.
Yeah. 2 games at home in that stretch, right?
I mean, that's the one. I think that's the one that set the reels in motion, though, because it was so. You have the turnover between Gabrielle and Raya doing whatever the fuck they were doing, and then, what was the other? There was 2 bonehead plays where we gave up 2 bonehead goals. I can't remember what the other one was. It's 11 o'clock at night, but
yep. All right.
I mean,
that's going.
All right, we're gonna. All right, Lonzo. We'll see you, but everybody else, and I think everybody left us. We're just talking to ourselves right now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say.
Was it just us?
Yeah, I think it's just us. It says 0 on the thing. So I'm gonna exit this formally, and we can talk in the back if you want. But otherwise, we're out. We'll be right back in like 30 seconds. Everybody, thanks for joining us, and hit the like, subscribe, and all of that.
Life is a journey. Don't waste your trip.